10 back at Bourne Park. Welcome into pregame Tomahawk Talk. I'm Ariel, Tamir-Pinsky, joined by Gotkin and Devon, Jarvis. And the Braves will take on the Falmouth Commodores for the first 10 this season. What can we expect from this team?
Well, Falmouth right now 3-6. Started the season pretty all right, but since then have lost 3 straight games. I think they're coming in today looking for a little bit of redemption. Of course, the biggest story of today is Jared Saltimacchia. His return to Bourne Park hasn't been here since July 12th in the Game 3 of the championship. So it'll be really interesting to see what he brings back. Was with this team for 3 years as an assistant, so that's going to be very exciting. But Bourne, they're red hot, going to try and take advantage and get another win.
Yeah, you said it. The Braves are hot. They're on a 3-game winning streak. We want to keep it going.
Yeah, for sure. First time this season that this squad had won 2 games in a row. They turn it into 3 with last night's 2-1 win over Orleans. The pitching staff has really been the difference because they've given up just, a few runs in each of these games. 1 in the win over Chatham, 4 in the second win of this streak, and then, just 1 last night again. So, they're pitching well, they're playing well, there's energy. There's now the new guys coming in who have all looked really good so far. So, after that kind of rough start, everything is really looking up right now for Bourne.
Well, speaking of pitching, we have Matt Shorey on the mound tonight. What can we expect from him? It's his first start.
Well, he's a reliever typically. He's coming into Bourne out of Vanderbilt. He's a very solid prospect, has not allowed an earned run in the Cape this season so far, so it'll be very interesting to see how he performs in a starting role. This Bourne team, like you mentioned, Adam, only 7 earned runs in their last 3 games, and typically in previous seasons, these Scotlanders Bourne teams have been known for their pitching. It hasn't been that this season until these last 3 games, so maybe they'll go back to old ways where they've been so successful and dominate on the mound.
Well, first pitch will be at 6 p.m. here at Bourne Park, but don't go anywhere. More pregame coverage coming up next. Ariel, Tamir-Pinsky, now joined by Lyle, Alenstein. Lyle, Jared Saltimacchia makes his return to Bourne Park tonight.
Yeah, this time as the head coach of the Falmouth Commodores. Him and Skylanders both arrived to the Cape Cod Baseball League as part of the Bourne staff 3 years ago. Now, first time that Landers won't have him by his side. They went to 3 championship series together where Bourne came out on top of 2 of them. But now he's leading the Falmouth Commodores, the 17-year MLB veteran. Well, it's a familiar place out here for him today, but he's going to try to get a win for the other side tonight.
Well, we've talked about getting some new faces. Someone that really stuck out last night was Gavin Kelly.
Yeah, we talked about him a few days ago. He obviously subbed in for Riker Waite when he got down with that injury 2 days ago in that awkward slide at first base. But, reach base 3 times, 3 hits. Not a whole lot of movement from the bats yesterday in that 2-1 win, but, former Big 12 all-freshman team this past season. That's a bat to keep an eye on going forward. We can see if he keeps it going tonight.
Well, thanks for joining me, Lyle. Don't go anywhere. First pitch at 6 p.m. and more pregame coverage coming up next. Ariel, Tamir-Pinsky now joined by Campbell Smithwick of Oklahoma State. Campbell, you just committed yesterday. How's it feel?
It feels awesome. Super thankful. It was not easy and it took a while, but I'm thankful I feel like I made the right decision.
You told me earlier this season that your parents moved to Oxford to be able to watch you at Ole Miss. Are they going to be making that move to Stillwater?
I have no idea. But I know they'll watch whether it's on TV or if they come. I'm just thankful that I'm in a good place, and I think they're happy that I am too.
And a lot of the guys I saw repost your commitment on this team. It seems like there's a lot of support. It seems like you guys are gelling. What's it like down there in the dugout during the game?
It's awesome. I think these guys are great. Everyone's supporting of one another. Everyone wants to see everyone else succeed. And so whenever you have that, it just creates a really nice job.
Well, thanks for joining me. Congrats and good luck tonight.
Thanks so much.
Since 2022, Scott Landers has been the field manager for the Bourne Braves. He's brought him 2 championships, and by his side has been Jared Saltimacchia until this year, where Saltimacchia took the manager position for the Falmouth Commodores. That means today is homecoming for these 2 to meet for the first time in the 2025 Cape season. For today's presentation of Cape League Baseball, we welcome you to Bourne Park for Game 10 between the Braves and the Commodores. Devon, Jarvis alongside Adam Gotkin and our sideline reporter Ariel Tamir-Pinsky joining us later in the broadcast. Adam, how can you get less excited about a game like this? For these 2 coaches to meet again, they're squaring off right now, introducing starting lineups with the umpires. The emotions are high and everyone's excited.
This was the game that everyone circled on their calendars preseason. It wasn't the season opener rematch of last year's championship. It was today because Jared Saltimacchia has been one of the faces of the Cape League ever since he got here 3 seasons ago. He is a New England, Boston legend because of what he did for that World Series team. the people love him. After every single game last season, there would be people going up to Salty asking for autographs. He was the guy around here, and now he's the guy in Falmouth. So it's interesting. It was really nice to see him. I had a chance to catch up with him. We spoke for a couple of minutes. Also, Quinn Stromberg, who was the first base coach last season for the Braves, is now the infield coach for Falmouth, so it's a homecoming for him as well. Just really good to see those guys, two great people, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun. You know that this game means a little bit more for both the coaches, which always will make things more exciting.
Absolutely. It's only friendly here, but I'm sure when they go back to their dugouts, there's a little extra motivation to win this game. Saltilamakia was an integral part of this Bourne organization when they won 3 West Division championships, 2 Cape League championships, so much so, of course, that he earned himself a head coaching job. And when you look at today, it's a very fun game, a very interesting game. Bourne going into this one with a record of 4 wins, 4 losses, and 1 tie. On the other side, the Commodores 3-6. They have lost 3 straight, and they're trying to just get back to a little bit more winning ways. It hasn't quite been that for Falmouth so far, but you look at these past 3 games for Bourne, they're on a 3-game winning streak, Adam.
This team has completely turned things around after that 1-4-1 start. The pitching is the big thing. It was really an issue for the first 6 games of the season. All the walks, all the hit batters, they were just piling up, and then it all accumulated in that 14-0 loss to Brewster. But since then, the pitching staff has given up 1 run, 4 runs, and 1 run in each of the last 3 games. A 3-game winning streak, the first time this season that Bourne has had a winning streak. And it's all because of that pitching. They're getting out of innings, even when they get in jams. They're doing a great job of limiting. And Scott Landers is finally getting this team playing the way that it should be and the way that it has been for the last 3 years under the skipper.
Well, like you said, over the past 3 years, Bourne has finished second, and first, respectively, in team ERA and final standings at the end of the Cape League season. Right now, they're 10th. They haven't shown that same pitching prowess they have in previous years, but in recent games, they're getting it going. On the bump today for Bourne will be Matt Shorey. He's making his first start of the year. He appeared in 2 games in relief. He's going against Caden Eschman, a Kentucky transfer, just came out of Northern Kentucky in his sophomore year. It'll be a fun matchup between those two really good pitchers. Right now, Eschman has only allowed a 2.25 ERA in his 8 innings pitched. No earned runs for Shorey. But before we talk more about these pitchers, Adam, what do we know out of the starting lineups?
Well, we'll start things off with the visiting Falmouth Commodores. Antonio Morales will lead things off and play right field. Batting second is the shortstop Adrian Lopez. In the 3 spots, the center fielder Micah New. Batting fourth is the catcher Bear Harrison. Playing second base is Kyle Morrison. Batting sixth is the first baseman Kent Schmidt. Batting seventh, the designated hitter Mark Quitrani. And batting eighth, the left fielder Carl Schmidt. In the number 9 spots, the third baseman Justin Osserhouse, and Caden Eschman is on the mound.
Well, Eschman's on the mound. We're going to step aside for the national anthem and be back with Bourne's starting lineup.
Offseason, the Falmouth Commodores and the entire Cape Cod Baseball League community lost a beloved member of.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
If you need to dig, lift, move, grade, clear, or cut, pump, weld, clean, light, and just about anything else, dial up the rental source for the newest and the most reliable equipment in New England. Staffed with equipment and construction experts, Milton Rents, your local source.
You can make any bat feel lighter by adding a velo puck knob. Instead of having to go get a whole entirely new bat, you can simply add the puck to it. Players can use this with any bat. It's basically going to shift the weight of the bat a little bit more towards the hands. Players are able to hit the ball a lot harder just by simply adding the puck on.
Welcome into Game 10 for the Bourne Braves and the Falmouth Commodores at Doran Park. Bourne, they're 4-4-1. Falmouth 3-6. Both teams on the opposite sides of 3-game streaks. Bourne has won 3 straight. Falmouth lost 3 straight, and they come today for the homecoming match between Scott Landers and Jared Saltalamacchia, also known as Coach Salty. We'll probably reference him as that throughout the broadcast. Devon Jarvis alongside Adam Gotkin, and the third member of our team, Ariel Tamir-Pinsky. You heard from her earlier in the pregame. She'll be joining us later as well. And Adam, what a fun game ahead. We just talked about it before, and as you can tell, these are not typical uniforms for both sides. Bourne wearing their warm-up uniforms in red, Falmouth their black warm-up uniforms. It's because it's pretty hot outside. It's really atypical for Cape weather, but these past couple days have been steamy ones.
Yeah, hot, humid, upwards of close to 100 degrees, and all these players have their warm-up shirts with numbers on the back so that scouts know who they are when they're warming up. And why not just wear them during the game? They're much lighter, they're much more breathable, and they'll make these guys feel a lot more like themselves. And the last thing you want is for a player to not feel like themselves. Look good, play good, and they look pretty good in these red jerseys.
Matt Shory's on the mound for the Bourne Braves. We'll tell you now the Bourne Braves starting lineup.
John LeGrand leads things off and is back in center field today. Batting second is Gavin Kelly. In the number 3 spot is the designated hitter, Cade Lewis. Batting cleanup is the man who hit the walk-off the last time the Bravos played at home, the third baseman, Braden Holcomb. Batting fifth, the hero from last night, the left fielder who hit the go-ahead home run in the 9th, Logan Hughes. Batting 6 is the first baseman, Jacob Craig. In the number 7 spot, the newest Oklahoma State player is Campbell Smithwick, the Cowboy committed earlier today. He is catching. Batting 8th, the shortstop Ryan Cooney making his debut here at Doran Park. And batting 9th is the right fielder Nick Groves, also making his Doran Park debut today.
3 Bourne Braves making their debut. We saw them play yesterday against Orleans in the 2-1 win, and you talked about it there with Logan Hughes in the go-ahead home run in the top of the 9th inning. Back-to-back games, Bourne win with their runs in the 9th. It just seems like their mentality has been elevated since that 14-0 Brewster loss last Friday.
There's no doubt, but I think that they won a much more comfortable win today. Of course, it's always fun when you can win a game in the 9th, but you'd much rather be up 3-4 runs and put it away earlier. That's the focus here. Start off strong, get a lead, and maintain it. That's something that this squad really has not done much of all season. In most of the wins, it's really been a kind of last-minute effort. I want to see this Bourne team just dominate from start to finish, go wire to wire today.
Yeah, they have had a super dominating win. First one that comes to mind is Chatham on Saturday, as Antonio Morales is the batter for Falmouth. They won that one 6-2 and were leading the entire way. It was probably their best outing on both sides of the ball so far. Matt Shory on the mound. He comes from Vanderbilt, joins 2 other Bourne Braves as a Commodore, alongside Braden Holcomb, who today plays third base, behind Shory to his right, and also Riker Waite. Shory to this point this season, only appearances as a reliever. He comes today after originally Noah Franco was supposed to be pitching, but he's dealing with an injury at the moment, and we hope to see him back soon. Swinging a ball lifted to the outfield, ranging is Hughes, an easy grab.
Nice. It's a nice first out from Shory. It's going to be big to see how he can settle into this game. As you said, first start, but that also means it's a big opportunity for this young lefty. Just finish up that freshman year at Vanderbilt, so he's not the most experienced. But as we were saying, with what we've seen from him so far this summer, he's been really solid. So a chance here to start is really big for Shory.
Yeah, he's been really good. Adrian Lopez, the new batter, and Shory so far this season got the win in the June 15th Game 2 against Chatham, where he came in the 5th inning in relief. 2 1/3 there with 1 hit, no earned runs, a walk, and a strikeout. The only other time he's seen action was Game 6 against Brewster, where he relieved in the 3rd. Pitched 2 innings there, no hits, 1 run unearned, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. So he's shown the stuff, and he gets the bump, you could say, to this starting position, and this is the first time Bourne will not be repeating a starter in their order, which you guess does raise some questions, but you want to see guys who aren't typical get the starting job. Like we mentioned before, Bourne's pitching hasn't been too glamorous so far this year, so if you can find some guys who are maybe earning that starting spot, it's going to only help you.
Especially at this level where, you know, guys are not necessarily locked in starters or locked in bullpen arms. You want to give everyone the opportunity to do what they want to do. A lot of guys want to be starters.
1-2's outside against Adrian Lopez. Lopez for Falmouth. Just finished his sophomore year at USC. The 2-2 is fouled back. Shorey at Vanderbilt didn't have too much experience. 13 2/3, a 5.27 ERA. A whip just around 1, but a good strikeout to walk ratio, 4 walks to 12 Ks. Lopez looking to get on the board for the Commodores. Strikes one right side. That'll be a base hit for Falmouth already in the first.
It's just a nice swing by Lopez to send that ball right back where it came from. It's such a weird release angle from the left-hander Shorey that you're almost receiving the ball from, you know, a foot or 2 feet to the right of the mound, but a great job there by Lopez to send that ball back to the right side of the mound into the outfield, and he really needed that hit because Lopez 1 for 8 on the season coming into this game.
Next one from Shorey is lifted deep to left field. Back at the track at the wall. Hughes gonna dive and make the catch. His first time back to Doran Park after giving Bourne the win against Orleans, and makes just as spectacular of a play to start the first inning.
And check out him in the outfield now, dapping up and high-fiving everyone in the bullpen. I mean, my goodness, that was just incredible from Logan Hughes. Just airmail, Superman-esque dive. That was incredible. What a play in left field. I thought that was probably gone off the bat. No, it was caught. Wow.
Just exceptional from Hughes. He leads the entire Cape League in OPS and can make defensive plays like that. Scott Landers sure got a good recruit out of Texas Tech with him. Bear Harrison, fantastic name, out of A&M, the new Commodore batter. Shorey working well against these early hitters. Still got the runner on first. The 1-1 coming from Shorey. Adam, you talked about how he has that not quite sidearm, but not quite straight release. He does work as far as you can toward the third base side of the rubber, so against these righties, he's trying to almost counterbalance it.
I mean, he has to find the plate. If not, he'd be way too far towards the right. I mean, it would be impossible to send that ball back towards the middle.
Antonio Morales is a lefty. The next lefty up is Kent Schmidt. He bats 6th. It'll be interesting to see how he maybe adjusts his footing on the mound for those lefties, maybe to get a steeper angle of attack and get a better advantage. The 3-1 is fouled off. We head to a full count. Bear Harrison out of A&M plays behind the dish today. Has 2 home runs this year. Tied 6th in the league in RBIs as well. The full count pitch is fouled off. Bourne has been able to strike first in each of their last 3. It's been a big talking point as the full count pitch is way high. And the first free pass of the day comes for Shorey, only his 4th walk of the Cape season.
2 out hitting, 2 out pitching. Those are going to be 2 big things in this game. That's where a lot of these games at this point in the season out here on the Cape are decided. Falmouth this season has been a squad that has really struggled with 2 outs, hitting just 149. They've struggled to get on base as well, not done a good job at walking with 2 outs, so that was a big one there to be patient.
Chopped grounder right side, and that'll be an easy out for Shorey to step on first and end the inning. No damage, but 2 left on for Falmouth as the Commodores get 1 hit and will now bring out their starter, Caden Eschman, the new Kentucky commit. Just spent a year at Northern Kentucky. We'll have more on him when we come back on Cape League TV and the Bourne Braves Broadcasting Network.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group, protecting the possible.
There hasn't been a ton of training when it comes to bat speed or products for players to be able to train bat speed. You can improve your bat speed and reach your goals working 10 to 15 minutes a day on this a couple of times a week. That's a no-brainer for every player.
Back on Cape League TV here at Doran Park. It's scoreless between the Commodores and the Braves as it's homecoming day in the Cape League for Jared Saltalamacchia. He's been an assistant coach for 3 years until this year, where he's now the field manager for the Falmouth Commodores. It's a special day, a fun day, and his offense scoreless in the first inning. Now Bourne to bring their bats up. We lead off with John LeGrand. He's followed by Gavin Kelly and Cade Lewis. LeGrand been a fantastic player this year. Hasn't quite had a huge game in a little bit, but he's been a consistent force, batting .286 on the year.
He's a player that you're always confident will get on base at least once a game, and then what he does once he's on is always dangerous. 4 for 7 attempting to steal this season. He's got unlucky a couple of times, which is why he's been caught 3 times, but stole a base yesterday. He's got the speed, has the aggression. If he gets on, it's dangerous.
Also, he's settling into a new level of catchers. Big East catchers not quite to the level of these Cape League guys. Eschman will deal for the first time today. Spent a few years at Northern Kentucky. He was excellent there and now makes the jump to become a Wildcat. That'll be huge for him. It's a graduate student transfer this year and works with a fastball, curveball, cutter, slider, changeup, 5-pitch mix. And as LeGrand has a check swing, it says he does not go, according to third base umpire Timothy Carey.
For Eschman, I should say, it's really about his strikeout. Goes with it almost 70% of the time. With his arm slot, it can be a really tough pitch to hit with the break that's on it.
The breaking ball misses again. Chatter coming from the dugouts. Good eye from LeGrand. He's not drawn a ton of walks this season, but he's worked himself into being in full counts quite a bit, but an aggressive hitter on the full counts. And he does just that right here.
Eschman's really been trying to play with a changeup recently. Just threw one there. It's a new part of his arsenal. That's what the summer's for a lot of these pitchers, to try new pitches out.
Payoff pitch is high, and LeGrand going to earn his 4th walk on the year. Eschman already puts one on with a free pass. Bourne's been doing a really good job at shifting their offensive identity, Adam. It's no longer looking for big hits and scoring on big plays. It's the small ball that's been getting the job done.
That's what you have to do. That's what this team has done for the last 3 years, and it's why it's won 4 straight division championships. It's because small ball is what wins in this league, especially when you play here at Durham Park. It's not a very hitter-friendly park, so you just got to get on base.
We have yet to see a home run here at Durham Park, as Gavin Kelly's the new batter, fresh off of a 3-for-4 day. He makes his home start debut with the Braves. But as I was mentioning, no home runs here at Durham Park yet, but this Falmouth team knows how to hit the long ball. 9 home runs this year. That's tied for first in the Cape League with YD, and it's even more impressive considering that YD's ballpark is maybe a little bit more homer-friendly. It doesn't really land that way for Falmouth, especially considering they've hit half their home runs on the road as well.
If this was at Eldridge Park where we played last night, then Falmouth would have already hit a home run today, because that fly out into left that Hughes made the diving catch on from Micah Newell was hit 330 feet.
That was just as long as Logan Hughes' homer yesterday, as Kelly will go back to the dugout with a strikeout. First K on the day for Eschman.
I'm intrigued on whether or not John LeGrand is going to test out Harrison behind the plate. He's been tested a good amount this season, but is 30% on throwing runners out.
LeGrand will shuffle a little bit. He's known to do that little fake steal, but honestly, not a lot of attention come to LeGrand. Yesterday when he got on in the first inning, he had a lot of throws over from Gostola. Not today. Cade Lewis, the new batter, a half swing, really towering high. Shortstop in Lopez clears the way to make the grab. Lewis didn't have a fantastic day yesterday, but in the season so far, he's been the best Bourne hitter. Top 10 in OPS on the year as he gives way for Braden Holcomb.
From Vanderbilt, number 34, Braden Holcomb.
This is a guy that Bourne is really hoping can get hot soon. He hit the walk-off the last time that the Bravos were at home against Katuitt. That was the first division win of the season. Now Holcomb could really use another good home game. Yesterday he went 1 for 4.
Got that base hit bunt down the third base line. You were talking with him about that. He said he's never tried that before, and it's the first time he's ever done it.
Yeah, he finally did it. Didn't get the sign from Coach Lemoncelli at third. Didn't get any sign from Landers either. He just saw that the third baseman was playing far back, so he put the bunt down.
Runner will go. Pitch is inside, and the throw is off the mark. So LeGrand will get the stolen bag, and funnily enough, the last time Holcomb was at home and LeGrand was at second base, it was a walk-off hit. Now we see that for the first time since then here at Durham Park.
I think one of the things that Braden Holcomb does so well is how he's able to control the bat. Now there's a huge gap in the right side of the infield. Can he bring LeGrand home on a nice base hit?
A long stare from Eschman right into the eyes of LeGrand as Holcomb fouls it off out of play.
Holcomb's been swinging the bat a lot better over the last couple of games, even though he hasn't really been working his batting average up.
But he's almost been doing that better because he's not swinging the bat as much.
Yeah, he's just being patient,
right,
picking the right pitches, trying to work on that discipline, which is always going to be a little bit tough for someone as strong as Holcomb because you just want to mash baseballs.
Really nice pitch by Eschman to square up the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bourne trying to work their way in a 2-out rally here. They've done that quite a bit over this winning streak, but it's been just impressive, their perseverance through all these games. The 2-2, half swing, it will get by off the foot of Harrison. The ball hasn't been picked up yet. LeGrand coming home, the throw is late. Great base running from LeGrand, and Harrison just couldn't find the ball. Bourne get the lead 1-0.
Heads up from LeGrand. That's what you do at second base if you're a kid at home watching. If the ball gets away and no one's paying attention, just start running. Holcomb thought it seemed like he swung, did a good job of making it seem like he did, and kind of bait the catcher Harrison into thinking maybe he had to go to first. I mean, that's just great from LeGrand. That's that speed, heads-up baseball.
He's been a guy that scouts have really liked early in this Cape season as Holcomb draws the walk. Inning will stay alive for Bourne after taking the lead. And it looks like there will be a mound visit by pitching coach Todd Carroll.
Not really a surprise that Carroll's coming out right now, because up next it's Logan Hughes, and he was spectacular to say the least yesterday. 3 for 3 with a double, and of course that home run in the top of the 9th inning that gave Bourne the lead and ended up being the winner. So if you're Todd Carroll, there's a lot to talk about here. How do you approach Hughes? He's really, really hot right now, swinging the bat well. So, what are his tendencies? And a lot of focus on this next at-bat here.
Among qualified players, there's not a player with a higher OPS than Hughes. He leads the Cape League, the only player above that 1,000 mark. He's at 1057.
It's important to note it is hard to qualify at this point in the season. You need 3.1 plate appearances per game, and not that many guys have that. Hughes is one of the few players in the league who's played all 9 games, which in itself is an impressive thing.
Yeah, Bourne has shown the same guys quite a lot this season, unlike a lot of the fluctuating rotations and starting lineups that these other teams have. Between Hughes, LeGrand, Holcomb, and Lewis, all 4 of those guys have played in every game so far, and they'll make 10 straight today as Hughes will get one and get a little lucky there. Kyle Harrison was trying to make a basket catch at second base, and he got it lost in the sun.
I mean, I guess it's the sun. I'm looking behind me, and there's a cloud there. Maybe the sun came out right as the cloud came out. Morrison just jumped out of the way. It seemed like he was scared of the baseball.
That's exactly what it looked like. If he had not moved his glove and kept it where it was, that would have been out number 3. And Bourne's just been finding ways to extend this first inning. And that's the way you got to do it. It doesn't have to be perfect baseball. You just have to force the other sides to make mistakes, put the ball in play, and then eventually capitalize on it. So here is Jacob Craig making his home debut for Bourne in a big position to advance the lead beyond just 1 run. Ashman's been pitching pretty well so far. And you look at the run to start, it was a wild pitch that should have only advanced LeGrand to third, and that last at-bat should have been the last one of the first.
By the way, that was called a single, not an error.
Yeah, it's only an error if it's a mistake only inflicted by the defender. And, of course, there were some external factors there with Harrison.
Yeah, but that's also a play he should have made. I think you can look at it both ways.
Runners on first and third. Base hit will make it a 2-0 ball game.
It's one of the, I guess you could say, I don't think an old wives' tale is correct, but one of those things that everyone says that isn't actually true. A player does not have to touch the ball for it to be an error. If it goes through your legs in the infield and you just botch it like Bill Buckner, it's still an error.
True. There is no touch of the baseball there as the runner will steal. Bourne going to try the double steal throw at home in time. Holcomb kind of got caught up on the slide, and that'll be an inning ender as Bourne leads 1-0. Before we go to break, we have a read from our sponsors for you. Keystone Place at Buzzards Bay is Bourne's premier senior living community, conveniently located adjacent to the Cape Cod Canal. Visit us at KeystonePlace at BuzzardsBay.com. Also, Marty Chevrolet, your dealer for the people, proudly supports the Bourne Braves baseball team. See all our cars and trucks at martychevrolet.com, and go Braves. When we come back, Bourne leading 1-0, and they're back on defense.
Cape Cod 5 is proud to be the official banking partner of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod 5 offers a broad range of financial products and services tailored for every stage in your financial journey. Reach out to us. We're here to help.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group, protecting the possible.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings. They're ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
The sun is out, beautiful weather, and spirits are high at Dorn Park for Game 10 between the Commodores and the Braves. It's a storyline bigger than just a game that could affect standings today. We talked about it before, but it's Jared Saltalamakia's return to Dorn Park. Last time he was here was July 12th for Game 3 of the Cape League Championship against Harwich. They didn't win that one in the offseason. Saltalamakia accepted a job as the field manager for the Falmouth Commodores. Right now, he's got his squad down by 1 and is looking to tie it up or take the lead here in the second inning of play. Devon Jarvis alongside Adam Gotkin. And Matt Shorey on the mound, making his first start for Bourne. Showed pretty solid in the first inning. Did a good job. Got some help from his outfield, especially Logan Hughes, who made just a spectacular catch in left field. First guy he sees is Kent Schmidt. Now I think I'm going to roll out the red carpet for Adam Gotkin here, because
yeah, Kent Schmidt's one of my favorite players in all college baseball.
Quick pick from Cooney. He tosses across the diamond for out number 1.
Unfortunate timing
there,
right? But if I just want to say why, it's because Kent Schmidt is an absolute legend on social media. He was incredible this past year at Georgia Tech, but he was hurt for a little bit. And when he was hurt, he would be live tweeting his team's games from home because he couldn't travel. And it was so unbelievably entertaining. Him and Monty Taylor, who is a writer who covers the ACC, would just be going back and forth. Kent Schmidt, just such a funny guy. He's got the hot dog bat, or the pencil bat, I think. One of those like funny bats. He's just a heck of a character and a great follow on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it.
I love a good athlete tweeter.
Yeah, but you got to do it right because, you know, some guys kind of take it a little bit too far. And
like Kevin Durant's pretty funny sometimes. Max Homa, actually the golfer.
Of course you bring up Max Homa.
Hasn't had his best days. He was and has been a fantastic Twitter follow.
You said that Max Homa would be the one person that you could, if you can meet, right? You meet Max Homa?
Max Homa is my favorite athlete of all time.
That's an absurd statement. Favorite athlete of all time is a golfer who's won no majors. Has he won any big tournaments? Favorite athlete ever.
Aren't you a fan of Washington sports teams?
2 championships in the last, 7
years? Yeah, but it's been a pretty depressing 5 years. You know, just because they don't win anything doesn't mean you can't be a fan of them.
No, but of all time, I just feel like Max Homa's an interesting one for all time.
Yeah, I don't know. He's just my guy. Mark Quattroni is the right-handed batter, second of the inning. The payoff will clip him in the foot. And the transfer portal player right now, just spent a season at Cornell, was really solid there on the East Hill and is going to be on first once again. Both second batters for Falmouth of the first and the second so far have gone on.
Now we'll see what Falmouth can do here on offense, because last inning it was pretty positive getting runner into scoring position. Bourne's done a really good job of locking things down after allowing base runners on, so it's going to be important for the Commodores to get one back here because it might get difficult as the game goes on.
Yeah, the Doors just haven't had it in these past couple games.
Yesterday, they had just 2 runs in the 5-2 loss to Hyannis, and both the runs came on just 1 single in the 7th.
Carl Schmidt, the 8th batter for Falmouth. Almost fully through the order. Out into right field, and a quick grab for Nick Groves. It seems like that something was affecting him. He's got some shades, though, so doesn't make it too difficult. We saw last inning that it wasn't too easy for Kyle Morrison. 2 outs now as Justin Osterhaus comes up, the sophomore out of Alabama. Bourne has had 2 Alabama players on their roster this season. Now only 1 remains. Justin LeBron was here for the first 2 games, and now it's just Jonathan Stevens. Jonathan Stevens, another one of those guys, Adam, who we likely could see make a start later. As a rocket goes down the left side, this sets up Falmouth for runners in scoring position again.
Because you bring him up, Jonathan Stevens actually committed today. He has found his new home, University of Alabama, Birmingham. So
just like
staying
that.
local. He's a native of Birmingham, too, so very happy for Jono to be able to go home.
So Jonathan Stevens commits to a school that's in his hometown. And Campbell Smithwick leaves a school that was his hometown.
Bourne's catcher going to Oklahoma State from Ole Miss, Oxford, Mississippi.
Back to the top of the order for Antonio Morales. Went down with a fly out to left field in the first inning. Great pitch for Shorey to begin.
Really a beautiful slider there. He gets such good break on it. You bring up my DC sports fandom. Reminds me a bit of Patrick Corbin's slider. Just so much movement. Lefty from that arm angle, too.
A really fun pitcher is Shorey.
I thought you were going to say is Corbin. He was not. He was the worst pitcher in the big leagues the last, 3 years. But he's been great this season, and he was really good before.
Slider, like you mentioned, that one goes out to the outfield, and runner's going to come home. LeGrand with a heave behind home plate. It won't be on target. And Falmouth tie the ball game.
A bit of a risky move there from LeGrand to go with the full, throw to home instead of going lower and potentially giving the chance for it to be cut off, because it allows Morales to get all the way to second, and now there's 2 in scoring position for a guy who's already got a hit today. But a nice job there by Morales to send that ball back up the middle.
It's a great hit by Morales. And what's interesting is, again, we saw Ryan Cooney do the little fake ground ball pickup at shortstop to try and bait the runner to not go. It does not work this time. But it may have had an effect yesterday against Orleans.
Also want to mention there, good job by Matt Shorey, the pitcher, to back up the high throw, because if he wasn't there, potentially another runner could have came in.
High intellect baseball even on a scoring play for Falmouth.
Yeah, those fundamental things can save runs.
Adrian Lopez, who got on with a base hit to right field, now comes in. Another one of those could give him a 2-run lead. Shorey trying to work out of a jam. Quick conversation to Scott Landers. And a first pitch swing for Lopez puts it out of play. Lopez out of USC is playing shortstop for the Commodores today. In his sophomore year, was a solid player for the Trojans. Transferred from Long Beach State. Spent his freshman and 2024 season there. Now you might like this, Adam. As Lopez rips one to left field. Hughes going to make the catch. Scary off the bat, just ripped at 102 miles per hour. But as I was going to say, Adam, he's a big fan of Chick-fil-A, his favorite food. And
oh, heck yeah.
You and him might have that in common. Well, we're going to send it to a break in the middle of the second here. Bourne get the game tied at 1 apiece. Let's see if they can get some runs on the board as we send things to the bottom of the second inning when we come back.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group, protecting the possible.
There hasn't been a ton of training when it comes to bat speed or products for players to be able to train bat speed. You can improve your bat speed and reach your goals working 10 to 15 minutes a day on this a couple of times a week. That's a no-brainer for every player.
Welcome back to Cape League TV and the Bourne Braves Broadcasting Network. It's a tie ball game on homecoming day between the Bourne Braves and the Falmouth Commodores. Jacob Craig steps back in as he was in the batter's box in the first inning before Braden Holcomb, trying to come home, was thrown out. It was a double steal attempt with Logan Hughes. Has gone their way once before on their only attempt this season, not the second time. So Craig, the junior first baseman out of Oregon State, is a really interesting prospect for this team. Bourne hasn't had a really concrete first baseman. They've had multiple guys switch in there. Weber Niels, Logan Hughes, Cade Lewis, Braden Holcomb, all in recent games too. Seems like they found their bedrock at that position with this acquisition.
And first base is one of those spots that you can put a lot of people to play decently.
As a high fly ball is struck by Craig, it'll be picked up by New in center field.
As I was saying, first base is a very hard position to play well, and it's one that when you have a guy you can play it really well, you can steal 3 outs a game at times. And you know, Craig, as a really good defensive first baseman, can be a very important player for Bourne. Saw that the last 2 summers with what Garrett Michelle was able to do, just getting so many stretches and close plays at first base.
Still hitless in his 2 games as a Brave, and gives way to another fun batter in Ryan Cooney, first team All Big Ten as an Oregon Duck last season, just coming off his sophomore year. Or rather, Campbell Smithwick, excuse me. He makes his return to the Braves for the first time since Hyannis, which was 6 days ago on Thursday, a week ago. And it's a special day for him because earlier this morning he committed to be a Cowboy, not in Dallas, but in Oklahoma. And Smithwick batting .364 on the year. Has been an interesting guy. It's the one catcher we've seen the least of for Bourne. It's been Keenan, him, and Weber Niels. Niels the most consistent and promising so far, but Smithwick, of those 3, the only non-draft eligible player, so he could likely stay here for a while. Those other 2 guys could get snatched up by MLB teams in 3 weeks. The 2-2. Swinging a foul ball left side, out of play. Speaking of the draft, Adam, in just about an hour and 20 minutes, it's a big day for you.
I guess so. Is this just the Adam Gotkin is a DC sports fan topic of the day?
Well,
I mean, I don't mind it. I can always talk about it.
Low cut on the breaking ball. Smithwick going to go back to the dugout swinging for out number 2. Well, it's the NBA draft tonight. It's a big day for all fans who have high picks, I'd say.
Number 11, Ryan Cooney.
Yeah, I guess you could say the worst record in the league and not even having a top 4 pick. You know, I'm not that excited, but in case anyone cares, which I'm sure no one does, I do want Ace Bailey to be a Washington Wizard. That's my one thing. So if you ever hear something like slam against our table here, it's probably me throwing my pen because Ace Bailey got picked before Washington.
Yeah, I would expect that to come right around like 8:30, 8:45. And when that happens, you'll just know. You don't have to watch the draft. You can tell based on just ambient noises that come from our broadcast. Ryan Cooney now steps in. As I was mentioning before, first team all Big Ten. The Oregon Duck just came to the Braves yesterday to make his debut. Got here physically on Monday and is enjoying his time in the Cape so far. Was with the NECBL a summer ago. It's the 2-1 he watches by for ball number 3.
Big thing this summer for Cooney is same thing as he did last summer, and that's a chance to play shortstop. Maddox Maloney is one of the better shortstops in the country, also out here on the Cape. Takes a lot of those reps at Oregon, so a chance for Cooney to play on the left side of the infield today, something that he really wants to do, and if he wants to bolster his draft stock, and the defensive side is going to be a big thing. You know, offensively, he is a stud and hit really well at Oregon, but defensively is really where the focus is this summer.
Struggled a little bit last summer with Ocean State offensively with the wood bat. As the payoff comes, chopped grounder, foul left side. He only hit .216 in the NECBL last season, but by far the most impressive offensive season of his career came this year at Oregon, where he hit .335. The only time he had a better batting average than that was going into his freshman year in the WCL Summer League with Springfield, where he hit .351. But, you know, Premier Big Ten ball in Division I is more impressive, of course.
The West Coast League isn't too bad. We were talking about them the other day with the Portland Pickles. I think it's the Springfield Drifters or Dusters, something along those lines in Springfield, Oregon.
Okay, Springfield, Oregon. I was going to say, I don't know which Springfield.
It is Oregon.
As he's fighting off here. A lot of good pitches by Eschman. But there is a Springfield in every single state in the United States, I'm pretty sure, or like 30 of them.
I was right. It is the Springfield Drifters.
He's been staying local, grew up in Portland, Oregon, going to school in Eugene, Oregon. For the first time, he's on the other coast. The payoff again. Left side grounder. Picked up by Osterhaus for out number 3. A 1-2-3 inning for Falmouth. They've looked pretty solid to start here in the tie ball game between them and the Bourne Braves. It's not only just Bourne going on today, but a couple games around the league. Chatham and Katuitt squaring off there in the top of the 6th. Katuitt up 4-1. Orleans and Wareham up 2-0. Hyannis and Brewster tied at 1, and Whitey and Harwich are in the bottom of the 1st, still scoreless. So we'll keep track of those as the games go on. Chatham, the game tomorrow, Friday after the off day that Bourne will see. That's their 3rd time playing them already, and they're 2-0 so far. Trying to keep that going.
Definitely weird scheduling so far this summer. Very, very odd.
Well, we'll send things to a short break once again. Top 3 on the other side.
Cape Cod 5 is proud to be the official banking partner of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod 5 offers a broad range of financial products and services tailored for every stage in your financial journey. Reach out to us. We're here to help.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group. Protecting the possible.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings, they're ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
Mike Canoe, the batter for Falmouth in the 1-1 ball game against Bourne. Got that one run just an inning ago on an RBI by Antonio Morales, the Maryland rising junior. Now Mike Canoe steps in, got the second out in the first inning with a fly out to left field, just a spectacular catch by Logan Hughes. Hit that ball 330 as well, and we were talking about how against Orleans, if he had done the same thing, that'd have been a home run. It was a 327-foot go-ahead home run for Logan Hughes in the top of the ninth just yesterday as Bourne got their third straight win. They're up to 500 ball on the season after starting the season 1-4-1. They've won 3 straight, like we mentioned, and things are looking up for Bourne. Falmouth here is on a 3-game losing skid, looking to find their way back in the win column against Bourne in this homecoming match. First time these two teams have met this year. New in the transfer portal right now. Playing center field today, but just finished his junior season at Marshall. The 2-2. Breaking ball low.
You ever watch the We Are Marshall movie?
I've never watched it.
Me neither, but I've heard it's really good. That's like one of the sports movies.
Well, that means there's got to be a lot of sports movies, as Craig's going to square under this one. Right on the first base line. Wind affects it a little bit, but he makes the grab.
Well, what I mean is it's one of, I think We Are Marshall, it's one of those up there with, like, I would say it's up there with the Virginia one. This is destroying me. My parents are not going to be happy that I don't know this movie. It's based in Northern Virginia, high school football. It's like,
oh, geez, I know what you're talking about. Come on, man.
I can see the poster too.
Can you see Denzel Washington?
Oh my gosh, they changed the
Ryan
name
Gosling.
of the high school. I've driven by the high school so many times.
We are the Titans.
Oh yeah, remember the Titans.
The mighty
Yes.
Titans.
It's one of those. Like, remember the Titans, We Are Marshall. I feel like those are two of the big football movies.
Okay.
Also, like, I feel like it's in that category of, like, it's one of them.
I'll have to check it out. Bear Harrison gonna get hit in the chest right there. He's grabbing it pretty tightly. Hope he's okay. He seems to be all right enough to make the trot over to first base.
Yeah, that stings, though. Right on the rib. Ooh, that does not feel good.
Never a fun one.
South Alabama, number 17,
Now
Kyle
second
Morris.
hit batter of the day for Shorey.
The rib is, I think, other than the fingers, like, probably the worst place to get hurt because it feels like you can't breathe if you bruise a rib. It's without a doubt the worst injury I've ever had is a bruised rib.
Yeah, not a fun one. He will trot to first base and get a little bit of assistance from Quinn Stromberg, who a year ago was the bullpen catcher for Bourne.
So nice to see Quinn back here. We caught up for about 10 minutes behind the turtle during batting practice. One of the great guys in this league.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Also spent 4 years as the Auburn bullpen catcher. Was part of that 2022 World Series run. And helped, of course, Bourne to that 2023 Cape League Championship. And his duties have been replaced by another Auburn bullpen catcher in Ben McCormick, who holds that spot for the Braves this season. Pretty good lineage, you could say, from the Tigers up to the Western Cape.
And it all actually started with Chris Stanfield's connection, who just won a College World Series with LSU. Small world.
Callum Morrison, swing and a miss, strike 3. as he's 0 for 2 to start the day, and that's out number 2.
Just the first strikeout for Shorey, a bit of a surprise because he was getting a lot of guys down with the strikeout as a reliever, 7 Ks and 4 1/3, but now in 2 2/3, it's his first as a starter.
Shorey's going to look over to second and come home against Kent Schmidt. We're talking about him before. Adams,
my guy.
Adams' guy. It's all about what you can do off the field. I feel like that's what makes a really good athlete, or a likable one. Are you scrolling through his Twitter?
I am. It is a hot dog bat. I was right.
I haven't seen that before. A hard hit ground ball. Easy play for Kelly. And that will retire the side. Bourne only show 4 to bring them down, and now it's the other side to try and take the lead as we send things to the bottom of the 3rd inning. When we come back, Falmouth and Bourne tied at 1 apiece.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group, protecting the possible.
There hasn't been a ton of training when it comes to bat speed or products for players to be able to train bat speed. You can improve your bat speed and reach your goals working 10 to 15 minutes a day on this a couple of times a week. That's a no-brainer for every player.
It's a 1-1 ball game between the Braves and the Commodores at Doran Park for game number 10 for both of these squads. Bourne has been hot as of recently. Saying goes, don't let the Braves get hot, because when they do, they have been really difficult to stop, and typically that comes at the end of the season. Scott Lander's not quite known for his June record, Adam, but he's kept it pretty solid this year. After the 1-4 start, he's brought things back up to 500 ball and is looking to get above 500 for the first time this year with a win today against the Commodores.
You have a feeling that Scott Landers is going to have his team playing good baseball in July and August, so I think everything at this part of the season is a big bonus. You know, this team has not been having success early in the season the last couple of years, so if they can, then I think you're even happier.
Well, we were talking about this yesterday. A new playoff format will see a best-of-3 series in the first round and not just the second round in the championship. So if Bourne can get home field advantage, they'll get that in 2 of 3 in their first-round matchup. But the question was whether or not that's more advantageous than just a one-game series. I think there's ups and downs to both sides.
I think it depends on the field and if your team has certain characteristics to play into that field. So if you're Bourne and your pitching staff, for example, this isn't this exact pitching staff,
as Nick Groves, after getting here yesterday, goes down with a looking K to start the 3rd inning.
As I was saying, if you're a pitching staff that, say, if Bourne's pitching staff was one that gave up a lot of home runs, they would then want to play, I think, a one-game series at Doran Park, because then, you know, you're one game, a field that you're really good at, and you do it there. If there's a 3-game series, there's so many more factors.
A bunt on the third base line. It was almost perfectly placed by John LeGrand before falling foul. Claps coming from the Bourne faithful. I think
that was a large cheer for a foul ball. I think that they just liked the small ball play because the cheers came after it was called foul.
They're just a fan of gritty baseball.
Yeah, that's true baseball fans for you. People cheering bunts.
For a foul bunt.
Banana Ball would be shaking right now. I mean, the yellow tux guy bunts, you're ejected. I mean, he would come here and lose his mind. Jesse, I think, right? The yellow tux guy.
On the stilts, too?
Yes, he would be losing it.
Used to be a summer ball team in the Coastal Plains League.
And now they don't actually play baseball.
Adam, a big fan of them.
Well, they just, it's if they're the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball.
Someone needs to do it, right? Half swing for LeGrand. Calls strike 3. 2 watching Ks for Bourne to start as Eschman gets his 3rd K of the day.
That's just a really well-located pitch, 84 miles an hour, off speed, right on the edge of the strike zone.
Really well located. But back to the bananas, the point is to grow the game, right?
But it's not growing the game as much if you make it seem like it's actual, true professional baseball. Like, everyone understands the Globetrotters isn't real. When you say the bananas is fake, they start saying, oh, well, the scores aren't predetermined. It's not like WWE. But it's still not real baseball. You can't bunt. They do flips. They're doing dances before pitching. Like, it's cool. It's entertaining. The kids like it. But I don't like when people act like, oh, it's like an actual professional baseball league, because it's not.
It's interesting. The applications for their broadcasting team came out a year ago or earlier this year, and part of the application process was to give a WWE intro for yourself.
Yeah, you know what? I will not apply for that job, Devon. I'm good. I'm all good. You can go for that one.
Yeah, we'll see what the future holds.
Voice of the party animals in 5 years. They've added a bunch of teams. That's like the other thing. They have like a whole league now of banana teams.
Well hit ball up the middle. Kelly going to try and beat this one out. Just late. As it's another 1-2-3 inning for Falmouth. Great start to the day for the Commodores. And before we send it to a break, why don't we welcome the 3rd member of our team in Ariel Tamir-Pinsky.
Well, guys, the big storyline tonight is Jared Saltalamacchia is back here at Dornbach Park. He coached with Bourne for 3 years with Scott Landers, and he's now the Commodores manager. I had a chance to catch up with him earlier, and he said he's so grateful to Scott for getting him out here down to the Cape, helping him get this opportunity. He said it's going to be a tough match. Scott is a great manager. He's very educated. He said one thing he learned from him was finding a balance, letting the players be themselves while also giving them a sense of urgency. And I think we've seen that with this Bourne team. They're having fun in the dugout tonight. A lot of the bullpen is in there. They're loud, but they're also on a 3-game win streak. Guys?
Thank you so much. That's definitely the storyline to follow today. A little extra motivation for both sides. Well, I'm going to send it to a short break here on the Bourne Braves Baseball Network. When we return, Adam Gotkin has your play-by-play coverage.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group, protecting the possible.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings. They're ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
We're into the middle innings at Durham Park, all even at 1 between Bourne and Falmouth. Due up for the Commodores is the bottom of the order. It's the number 7 hitter, Mark Quattrani, to lead things off. First pitch in for a strike from Matt Shorey. The left-hander into his 4th inning as the Bravos starter. This is his first start of the summer after 2 bullpen appearances, and the young Vanderbilt freshman has looked really solid. The only man that he's allowed crossed home yet is this guy at the plate. Petrani hits it foul down the third base line. Count still 0-2. There is some action in the Bourne bullpen. Derek Smith, the right-hander out of NC State, starting to get loose. Wouldn't be surprised if Shory's day will be done after this 4th inning. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. A filthy breaking ball in the dirt from Shory, and he gets his 2nd strikeout of the night.
That's that slider that he's so dangerous with. It's the 2nd most common pitch, and just completely wrecks batters when he can get it to really break like he wants to.
That sends up the left fielder, Carl Schmidt. He flew out to right field his first time up. Takes the first pitch. Win tonight would make it 4 in a row for the Bravos, as there's a chopper towards short and an easy play out number 2, Cooney to Craig. For Falmouth, it's the opposite, trying to break a streak. The Commodores have lost 3 in a row. They're 0-2 in the West Division, so this is an important game for Falmouth to try and get back on track. And it's now Justin Osterhaus, the number 9 hitter and third baseman, who steps in.
Falmouth right now 4th in the West. Bourne has earned the 2nd spot.
Sharp line drive, that's into right field for a base hit. It's a 2-out single for Justin Osterhaus, and that brings back up the top of the order. So Anthony Morales, who's 1 for 2 today with an RBI single, gets ready to step to the dish. Transferred recently, or announced his transfer recently to the University of Maryland from Wake Forest. Played last summer with the North Adams Steeplecats. That's an organization that I spent the 2023 summer with. Most beautiful ball field in the world. Joe Wolf Field out in the Berkshires. There's another sharp grounder towards short. Cooney goes to 2nd for out number 3. A quick work from Matt Shory in the top of the 4th, into the bottom of the 4th, but the score still 1-1. 3-4-5 due up for Bourne. You're watching the Bourne Braves Broadcast Network on Cape League TV.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group, protecting the possible.
There hasn't been a ton of training when it comes to bat speed or products for players to be able to train bat speed. You can improve your bat speed and reach your goals working 10 to 15 minutes a day on this a couple of times a week. That's a no-brainer for every player.
Bottom of the 4th inning, 3-4-5 due up for the Bourne Bats. We're all even at 1. Adam Gotkin, Devon Jarvis with you. Our sideline reporter, Ariel Tamir-Pinsky, will be heard throughout this broadcast as well. Cade Lewis 0 for 1 today with a pop out to short. He went 0 for 4 yesterday, a very rare hitless day for the guy who came into this day with the highest batting average on the team at 345. Lewis looking to get back into the swing of things here. Grounder towards second. A bit of an awkward hop, but Morrison gobbles it up and fires to first for the first out.
Most inconsistent, or I guess the worst stretch we've seen from Lewis this season. He's been just a consistent force all year long, and now hitless in 6 plate appearances. A little bit off brand for him.
Braden Holcomb steps up to the dish. Bourne's third baseman. He walked his first time up, a really solid at bat, worked his way back into the count after falling behind early. He was then out at home trying to score on a double steal. Really beat the throw home, but it was just a great play by the catcher, Harrison, to put his foot in the right spot and block the slide from Holcomb. 1-0. Holcomb's been enjoying that bright blue bat he's using right now for a lot of this season. The Bourne players were fortunate enough to be able to swing some Louisville Slugger bats that are in the works during BP today. Holcomb, along with the rest of the batters, were rotating through them. Very cool opportunity for this team to figure out what they like, what they don't like.
It's like just a kid in a candy shop picking out whatever bat you want.
Really is. Holcomb watches a slider in for a strike. 2-2.
Holcomb's had that baby blue since day one, but it hasn't been the only bat he's used. He said he nearly broke it in games before, so doesn't want to do that again.
That runs far inside, almost hit Holcomb. Moves the count full again to 3-2. Another really patient at bat. Walked on a full count pitch back in the first. The payoff pitch. Lifted right side and foul. That almost got caught in the corner down the line, but just barely was sent to the right of the foul pole. We haven't seen anyone really hit a pesky pole home run at Bourne in the last couple of years and tuck it around the pole in right field where it's just 300 feet. We saw a ground rule, or an automatic double, I should say, bounce over it in that area already this season, but not one on the fly. Again, the 3-2 to Holcomb. Soft bouncer, right side. This will be a tough play for Morrison. Glove flip is in time. Oh, man. Holcomb put out the safe sign. He thought for sure that he beat it out, and so did Scott Landers, Bourne's manager. He's on his way out of the dugout.
A really close play, but just a smooth defense from Kyle Morrison. Nonchalantly flipped it to first base to Schmidt when he probably should have had a little bit more attentiveness to it, but I guess if he gets the job done.
I thought for sure it seemed like Holcomb had beat it out. Landers really not happy, but the call on the field will stand. It's a 4-3 ground out, and we've got 2 gone here in the bottom of the 4th.
Hey, Landers not a guy to hold back on what he thinks.
Someone who's going to stand up for his team, and especially for a guy like Holcomb who's been struggling lately and could really use a hit. That's what you want to see your manager stick up for him. Logan Hughes stands in. Hops one up, third base side. Osterhaus watches it drop foul. Hughes has been swinging a red-hot bat lately. Singled back in the first inning and went 3 for 3 yesterday. Leads the Cape League in OPS among all qualified hitters. Pitch misses upstairs. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. Uses batting average all the way up to 345. OPS over 1,000 at 1072. He laces the 1-1 pitch into right field. Morales under it, and he makes the catch for out number 3. An easy play, retires the side. The Bravos go down 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 4th inning. Before we step aside, are you ready to dominate the diamond and pitch like a pro with the Cape's own Keith Bildo? Join us at the Capeplex, where champions are made. Don't just play the game, own it. Visit the Capeplex today and unleash your full potential. Located at 6 Forest Park Drive in Bourne, find us on Facebook or at thecape-plex.com. Elevate your game at the Capeplex. Braves fans looking for the best breakfast on the Cape? Stop by Corner Cafe, your go-to spot for delicious, made-from-scratch breakfast served 7 days a week. From fluffy pancakes to sizzling bacon and fresh brewed coffee, Corner Cafe in Pecasset has everything you need to start your day right. Just a short drive from Durham Park. Come taste why the locals call it the best breakfast in town. We'll step aside, top of the 5th when we return.
Cape Cod 5 is proud to be the official banking partner of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod 5 offers a broad range of financial products and services tailored for every stage in your financial journey. Reach out to us. We're here to help.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we know there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. Now that's how we all win. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings, they're ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
Top of the 5th inning, and a new pitcher into the game for Bourne with a 1-1 score. Final line for the Bravos starter, Matthew Shorey. He went 4 innings, gave up 4 hits, 1 run. It was earned. He walked 1 and struck out 2. He gives way for Derek Smith, a right-hander out of NC State. He's already pitched twice this season and has gone 4 2/3 innings with an ERA of 5.79. Smith, a 6'2", 221-pound hurler out there, goes slider, fastball, sinker, curveball. Last time out against Brewster, gave up 2 earned runs in 2 2/3 innings.
And that was just a huge performance out of Derek Smith. Bourne lost that game 14-0. But in those 2 2/3, he threw over 60 pitches in relief and ate up any other excess pitchers that could have come out of the bullpen, which has kind of set up Bourne for their winning streak they're on right now.
His first pitch misses upstairs. There's no doubt that Smith being able to eat up innings in that blowout loss just made things so much easier for the rest of the pitching staff. And he now gets rewarded for it, put in a 1-1 ball game in the 5th. This is upstairs on a fastball at 91. 2-0 the count to Lopez. He's 1 for 2 today. 1 for 10 on the season. That single in the first, of course, his first knock of the year. Smith into the wind. Here's the pitch. Upstairs, 3-0. For Derek Smith, this is a really important summer. He pitched in just 6 games this past year at NC State after being one of the top arms the prior year. Finds the zone and moves the count to 3-1. Smith in the portal, so a chance for him to showcase his talent this summer. Misses low for ball 4. That's not how Derek Smith wanted to start this outing. A walk to the leadoff man, Adrian Lopez.
He's a very talented player. First time up, he faced YD and got the blown save, but did come up clutch. There were no outs with the bases loaded, and he worked Bourne out of that jam when YD was pretty much looking at a walk-off win before the game was called due to darkness. He's shown a lot of flashes of some really good baseball. He just needs to put it all together.
Walks and control have been the issue. That's the 7th of the season. First pitch to Micah New in for a strike. The center fielder 0 for 2 today. Control was an issue this spring for Smith when he was dealing with some injuries. In 3 innings, he walked 6. But if you go back to his 2024 season, his best collegiate season, he walked just 11 in 29 innings. Runner going. Smithwick won't even get a throw off to second after the wild pitch. Lopez into scoring position. Control was never an issue for Smith, even if you go back before that 2024 NC State season when he played for the Mankato Moondogs in the Northwoods League. 44 innings, just 22 walks. So he's just trying to find his stuff again. You know that he's got it in him. Just needs to pitch consistently enough to get back into the swing of things. The 1-1 to New. Swing and a miss in the dirt. Smithwick keeps it closer this time. New the man at the plate. We talked about him earlier out of Marshall. In the portal again. Fouls went off. Started at the University of New Orleans. It's an interesting school. Very small school. Most people know of Tulane in the city. New Orleans there as well. It is in the Division I. Southland Conference. Also Xavier University, which is a pretty solid baseball team in NOLA. Now LSU, Baton Rouge, not too far away.
That's where real baseball is, or the real good baseball.
The real Cajun baseball, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Louisiana Monroe usually is a pretty solid team, so does the University of Louisiana. Overall, down south, there's always good baseball anywhere. 1-2, misses upstairs. Derek Smith looking for the first out in this top of the 5th. I'll step off and toss it back to second. Pitch clock was running out. Action in the Bourne bullpen. It's Lou Marinero, the left-hander out of St. John's, warming up, with Smith struggling a little bit here, but still early on in this appearance, facing just a second batter. 2-2 misses far inside. Count runs full. A look back to second and the payoff pitch. Fouled off. A nice long at-bat here from New after Matt Shorey put Falmouth down pretty quickly in both the 3rd and 4th innings. A lot of base runner each of those times, but got out otherwise with relative speed. That pitch popped up, foul out of play right behind us.
The only problem you're looking at here is Smith is working himself into deep at-bats early in his outing. That's why you've already seen Marinero start to get going with the no outs and free pass.
10th pitch of the at-bat is laced in towards right center field. That's down, and that'll roll all the way to the wall. Lopez gets the wave around third. New into third. It's a triple for Micah New, and it's 2-1 Falmouth. A perfectly placed bullet into the right center field gap, and Micah New has given the Commodores the lead here in the top of the 5th.
An excellent hit right there, and Falmouth's just doing the little things right. They're taking advantage of these Bourne pitchers, and Derek Smith just in a jam to start, and he's still got to deal with a runner on third.
Barry Harrison now at the plate with the man 90 feet away. First pitch in for a strike outside part of the plate. Harrison has reached twice today, a walk and a hit by pitch. Low and outside, 1-1. Lou Marinero looks like he's pretty close to ready in the bullpen. Derek Smith's 2-1. In for a strike, 2-2.
Strikeout is huge here. This Falmouth team has been able to put up runs so far this year, and they've shown that against Bourne.
Harrison leads Falmouth with 6 RBIs, make it 7. And it'll also be a base hit. That bounced off the back of the leg of Smith. Great hustle down the line from Bear Harrison. He reaches for the 3rd time today and puts the Commodores up 3-1 in the top of the 5th inning.
Just really unlucky right there, and that's how runs can score. Run was going to score likely regardless. Now a chat at the mound alongside the umpire.
The home plate umpire, yeah, says it's an injury timeout, so that's not counted as a mound visit. Not sure exactly what the injury was.
Well, the hit off the pitcher likely.
I guess, yeah, just checking to make sure that he's okay. That would make sense, even if it's not actually an injury and he is okay.
Now batting from South Alabama, number 17, Kyle Morrison.
Kyle Morrison stands in. He's 0 for 2 today with a ground out and a strikeout. Watches the first pitch, a fastball outside ball, 1-0. Falmouth has 6 hits to Bourne's 1. Commodores now with a 3-1 lead. 2 have already crossed here in the top of the 5th. Derek Smith looking to limit the damage. This is upstairs, 2-0.
Marinero still getting going, but there hasn't been any movement from Scott Landers, the skipper who ultimately makes that decision. You got to wonder right now what's the leash on Smith if he keeps letting runners on.
This is low and outside again, 3-0. Derek Smith started this inning with a walk to Adrian Lopez. Since then, he's given up a triple and a single. Now he's down in the count. Kicking the pitch. That's low ball 4. Pair of hits, a pair of walks. Scott Landers on his way out of the Bourne dugout. We'll see if this is the end of the day for Derek Smith. No point out to the bullpen yet. But either way, not the appearance here that Smith was looking for after he looked really solid his last time out.
Yeah, still looking for the first out, too. It's just not quite been there for him.
Well, Landers on his way back into the dugout. Derek Smith stays in the game. And he'll go up against Kent Schmidt, the left-handed hitter out of Georgia Tech. Runners on first and second.
Number 10, Kent Schmidt.
Schmidt led the ACC in batting average this past season at .397. Again, he missed those 20 games due to injury, but was a social media star during that time. Searching for RBIs, maybe 4, 5, and 6 of the summer here. If he can hit his first homer, enters this game with 3 ribbies.
And this Falmouth team has been really good with the long ball. 5 home runs in their last 4 games. Just going to be ultra difficult here at Bourne Park with the wind not blowing out.
Finally in for a strike. Fastball upstairs from Smith. The NC State right-hander fires. Misses inside on a slider. Also going on around the Cape, bottom of the 7th, Katuitt and Chatham tied at 4. That's a really interesting game between two teams that really need wins as Schmidt destroys the ball down the right field line. That's going to be extra bases. Harrison scores. Morrison gets the wave around third. He's in standing up, and it's a bases clearing 2 RBI double for Kent Schmidt. It's 5-1 Commodores in the top of the 5th.
Falmouth is just seeing the ball so well against Derek Smith right now, and they're piling on to this lead. It was 1-1 going into this inning, and finally it looks like Scott Landers will be standing up, but no, he's not going to come out of the dugout. He's going to leave Smith on the mound, and still runners in scoring position.
It's been walk, double, single, walk, walk, triple, single, walk, double for Derek Smith in the first 5 batters he's seen. The 6th one of the day, Mark Petrani watches the first pitch in for a strike. Called strike on the slider outside, 0-2 to Quattrani. Schmidt at second has scored just 1 run this season.
See Falmouth here just being really patient in counts too. It's effort from them as well that has led this inning to be so profitable for them.
1-2, a sharp grounder foul down the third base line.
They're staying in these counts and just waiting for their pitch, not being too aggressive against a pitcher in Smith who's given them pitches to hit, but they haven't been early in at-bats. They've been late in at-bats, and Falmouth's just doing a perfect job.
Smith still searching for the first out of this top of the 4th. 4 have already crossed for the doors. Kicking the pitch. Fouled back. Petrani, the Cornell Big Red batter, currently in the transfer portal after a few of the best seasons that the Big Red have seen in a long time. Was the Ivy League Freshman of the Year, then first team All Ivy League for a 2nd straight year after that, but now searching for a school that prioritizes baseball a lot more. Wouldn't be shocked if he ends up in the SEC or the ACC, one of those top tier conferences.
Yeah, the Big Red had missed the playoffs this year, but after starting off really good last year, they got 2nd.
Upstairs, 3-2.
Performances just really haven't been there for the squad, so it's big for Quattrani to capitalize off his performances in the Ivy League and here in the Cape to get himself a new home that, like you said, is going to be able to compete at a really high level.
It's just so tough at those mid-majors, like in the Ivy League. If you don't win the conference, you can't make the tournament. Holcomb fires across the diamond. There's out number 1 finally of the top of the 5th. So it took 6 batters, but There's the first man retired, and it sends Carl Schmidt to the plate. He's 0 for 2 today, but a runner on second. Now a 4-run lead for his squad.
And Marinero's well into his bullpen as well. He was just looking in to see if he was going to get called up, but no.
Smith's first pitch misses upstairs. I gave you the score of that Chatham-Katuitt game as it was tied at 4. The Kettleers just scored 2 runs as that game goes into the end of the 7th.
The Kets are coming back. They started 1-7, were dead last in practically every offensive ranking, and beat Brewster yesterday. Have a chance to beat Chatham here. Oh, how a season can flip.
Brewster's up 2-1 over Hyannis in the top of the 5th. That a game between 2 of the 3 teams in the league with 6 wins. Whitecaps started off 6-0. They've lost 3 in a row since then, so that'd be big for them to get back into the win column. Orleans down 5-0 to Wareham in the top of the 5th. Firebirds had won 2 in a row before Bourne beat them last night. 3-0 pitch well upstairs. That's ball 4. Already the 3rd walk of this inning from Derek Smith. The last game going on right now, bottom of the 4th. Harwich up 1-0 over YD. Red Sox have been red hot with 4 straight victories. The Scotlanders now on his way out to the mound after the 3rd walk of the inning and 6th base runner led on by Derek Smith, and that'll be the end of his evening. Lou Marinero, the southpaw to St. John's, the new arm in for the Bravos. We'll tell you all about him when we come back from this break. You're watching the Bourne Braves Broadcast Network on Keep League TV.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings. They're ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
There hasn't been a ton of training when it comes to bat speed or products for players to be able to train bat speed. You can improve your bat speed and reach your goals working 10 to 15 minutes a day on this a couple of times a week. That's a no-brainer for every player.
New pitcher into the game for the Bravos is the left-hander Lou Marinero out of St. John's. He goes fastball, curveball, changeup, slider. Pitching now for the 3rd time this season. He's gone 3 2/3 already this year. A 4.91 ERA. He's walked 3, struck out 4. For Marinero, he had a really solid year with the Johnnies this past season. Pitched a ton. Was one of the main guys in big moments for that team. And is in a similar spot here on the Cape. Has already pitched in a couple big moments. His last outing was a while ago. Came all the way back in the first week of the season against Hyannis. He gave up 3 runs, just one of them earned, in an inning and 2/3. Control was the issue then. Gave up 3 free passes. Derek Smith just gave up 3 in the top of this inning that still got just 1 out. First pitch to Justin Osterhaus, a strike and the count 0-1. Schmidt at second. And Schmidt at first. Kent the lead runner, Carl behind him. fouled off the batter, and the count 0-2 to Osterhaus.
It's been a monster inning for Falmouth, and something that Bourne can't do is just shrivel up and let the game go by. They've been down by this much before. They've brought it back in close games, down 4-1 against YD, brought it back, or rather Brewster.
Swing and a miss, strike 3, Marinero. K's the first man he sees.
Kept things close with Harwich on opening day, so they've got to stay in this one. Their bats are good enough to come back, and while it's been a lot of lower scoring games recently, this is a good test for Bourne to face some adversity.
Now it's Antonio Morales, the leadoff man, the only Commodore who hadn't hit in this inning. 1 for 3 today with an RBI already. That was his first RBI of the season. Had scored 7 runs, was hitting .333, but as the leadoff man, hadn't brought anyone in. Morales also the only Commodore who has played every game this season. He's got Kent Schmidt at second, Carl Schmidt at first, here with 2 gone in the top of the 4th. Marinero's 0-1. A ground ball towards second. Kelly fields, and the throw to first is in time. Marinero comes in and shuts the door on the Commodores, but not before the damage was done. 4 runs in the top of the 5th. We'll step aside with the score 5-1. You're watching the Bourne Braves Broadcast Network on Cape League TV.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
If you need to dig, lift, move, grade, clear, or cut, pump, weld, clean, light, and just about anything else, dial up the rental source for the newest and the most reliable equipment in New England. Staffed with equipment and construction experts, Milton Rents, your local source.
You can make any bat feel lighter by adding a velo puck knob. Instead of having to go get a whole entirely new bat, you can simply add the puck to it. Players can use this with any bat. It's basically going to shift the weight of the bat a little bit more towards the hands. Players are able to hit the ball a lot harder just by simply adding the puck on.
Bottom of the 5th and the day done for Falmouth starter Caden Eschman. A really spectacular performance. In 4 innings, he gave up 1 hit, just 1 run. It was earned. He walked 2 and struck out 4. Easton Barrett, the new man on the mound, a young 19-year-old left-hander out of Arizona State. He stands at 6 foot tall, 170 pounds. Earlier this season, he pitched against Orleans 5 days ago, and Barrett was exceptional in that outing. In 4 innings, he gave up just 2 hits, 1 run, walked 1, and struck out 6. The Utah native was one of the top arms for the Sun Devils this past season. Went 39 2/3 innings, had an ERA of 4.31. Goes up against 6-7-8 in the Bourne order, Jacob Craig, to lead things off. 0 for 5 on his young season. Craig in just his 2nd game, first home game with Bourne. First pitch strike in the count 0-1. Easton Barrett, originally from Springville, Utah. Went to Springville High School. That's in the Provo area, just south of Salt Lake. Such a beautiful part of the country. Had the chance to go out there in late February, early March to work a lacrosse game, and those mountains are just absolutely breathtaking. 0-2, up and outside. They almost don't look real. I can't even imagine being from Utah or one of those places where there's just, 10,000-foot mountains right next to your door.
I've seen the Rocky Mountains quite a bit skiing, and they're just unbelievable, like you said.
It's really breathtaking when you see those huge mountains if you haven't seen them before. I was from the East Coast. I hadn't been out west until a few years ago. The first time I saw it, I just couldn't believe just how big the mountains are. Especially in that Salt Lake Valley where Barrett's from, it's just completely flat next to the mountains, so you get the full elevation gain. 2-2, and Craig couldn't hold up. A half swing went past the plane. That's the first strikeout for Easton Barrett against first batter that he sees. Campbell Smithwick went down swinging his first time up, stands in.
And every single inning since that first, Falmouth has only seen 3 batters. They've been exceptional as a pitching staff.
10 straight retired. That all started with Jacob Craig. Bravo's bats trying to get something going here. Just 1 hit on the day that came in the first. Got 3 on in that inning because of 2 walks as well. It was a really impressive job by Caden Eschman to lock things down in the second, third, and fourth after he struggled as much as he did in the first. It always tells you a lot about a pitcher if he can put 9 up, 9 down after a tough first inning. Smithwick ahead in the count, 2-1. Wouldn't be shocked if Barrett goes fastball here. 95% fastball when behind in the count to lefties. Goes with the heater on the 2-1 and finds the zone. Shadows almost entirely covering the field now. The sun is almost completely set behind the school. Called strike 3. Barrett goes with the slider outside, and it just absolutely froze Smithwick. Back-to-back Ks for Easton Barrett to get his day going, and it sends Ryan Cooney to the plate.
You talked about how now there are 11 straight retired. 4 strikeouts in that mix, 3 of them these Bourne players just watched by, and you can't have that. You've got to at least swing the bat, put some challenge on the ball, and Bourne just hasn't had that. It seems like they are just defeated after that 4-run 5th inning, which
Cooney hits a rocket towards short, an easy play for Lopez, and that retires the side. 12 up, 12 down in a row for the Bourne offense. They just cannot get anything going right now. Keystone Place at Buzzards Bay is Bourne's premier senior living community. Conveniently located adjacent to the Cape Cod Canal. Visit us at Keystone Place at buzzardsbay.com. Marty Chevrolet, your dealer for the people, proudly supports the Bourne Braves. See our cars and trucks at martychevrolet.com and go Braves. We'll be back for the 6th inning. The score 5-1 Commodores.
Cape Cod 5 is proud to be the official banking partner of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod 5 offers a broad range of financial products and services tailored for every stage in your financial journey. Reach out to us. We're here to help.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we know there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. Now that's how we all win. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings, they're ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
We're ready for the 6th inning from Durham Park. The score 5-1, Falmouth up on Bourne. Lou Marinero back out onto the mound for the Braves. Came in a dangerous position in the last inning with 2 on and 1 out. He then struck out the first man he saw and forced Antonio Morales to ground into an inning-ending 4-3 ground out. Now Adrian Lopez steps in to lead things off. He led off the last inning with a walk and then came in to score. Lou Marinero has looked really solid so far in this outing. Would love to keep this game where it is. First pitch, a ball, 1-0. Mentioned a moment ago how Katuitt has taken a 6-4 lead over Chatham. The way that they did it, a Rintaro Sasaki 2-run, no-doubt homer. His first home run of the summer. The very highly touted Japanese prospect. We saw him get his first hit of the year in the last game at Durham Park. That was a 102-mile-an-hour double. He's struggled a little bit at times to hit for contact, but Sasaki's just got unbelievable power, and he's already using it on full display.
He can just mash the baseball. He's one of those guys, the more time he spends, not only is he going to develop his skills as a player, but just get more acclimated to the United States version of baseball, which is much different than the style of baseball that he played back home in Japan.
The 3-0 upstairs, ball 4. It's a 4-pitch walk to Adrian Lopez. That's not a good start to this top of the 6th inning for Bourne. The bottom of the 6th started the same way, a free pass to Lopez, and then 4 runs came across. The second batter of that inning was Micah New. He now stands in. A repeat of the last inning would be a disaster. That was an RBI triple for New. Before that, he was 0 for 2 with a fly out to left and a pop out to first. First pitch, a foul tip back.
Marinero here just has to focus on keeping the game in reach for the Braves. They are down 4 runs right now. If you let anything compile, this game could get too far away, and we've seen how games can get out of reach for Bourne. They were down 8-1 against Hyannis, lost 14-0 to Brewster. This is a really talented team that just allow a bit too many big innings.
Fastball upstairs, cut on and missed, 0-2 the count. That's been really the thing in Bourne's wins. They haven't given up those big innings. Yesterday, gave up just 1 run in the loss or in the win against Katuitt. As called strike 3 on a fastball up and outside. Marinero painting the corner for his second K. But as I was saying, in that win against Katuitt 2 games ago, Bourne gave up 4 runs, but they gave up all those runs in separate innings, so avoided the big inning. And then the win before that, they gave up just 1. So it's been really the difference ever since that 14-0 loss to Brewster, where they gave up 2 in an inning, 3 in an inning, and 6 in an inning.
Bourne going into this game had their 3-game win streak, and of those 3 games has only trailed in half an inning.
Trail here for first time today after the 4-run top of the 5th for the Doors, looking to pile on here in the top of the 6th. Bear Harrison had an RBI double his last time up, runner going, and it bounces away from Campbell Smithwick. That's an easy trot into second for Adrian Lopez, and he's into scoring position again. It's for the third time today. Harrison leads Falmouth with 7 RBIs this season. Hits the 2-1 towards right field. Groves got a bad read on it. He moves back and makes the catch over his head for out number 2. A nice recovery by Nick Groves in right field as he was looking up into the sun. One of the few spots at Durham Park where the sun hasn't been covered by the school. But luckily out number 2, and Kyle Morrison now on his way to the dish with a runner on second base and 2 outs here in the top of the 6th inning.
The Suns had a factor in quite a few pop-ups and fly balls so far in this game. Kind of surprising how much has been playing an effect. And if Lopez on second had decided to tag up, he likely would have been into third base in time with the bad read that Groves had on the ball.
Once the lights come on, we've seen some players have issues with the artificial lighting here at Durham Park. This is the first time all season that we've seen multiple players have trouble viewing the sun. First pitch strike to Kyle Morrison. Bourne pitching staff has walked 5 so far today. Walked just 4 yesterday. It's been a key thing to watch in a lot of wins versus losses. The control of pitchers as Marinero misses low and inside 2 on the count. Today it hasn't been too bad, but you saw those 3 walks in the last inning that helped lead to the 4 Commodores runs. You see where those free passes can really pile up.
Bourne worst in the league right now at allowing those walks. It's been a pretty clear chart. When Bourne allows a lot of walks, they're losing games.
I mean, it's a pretty big reason for why the team ERA is worst in the league, because they've walked the most batters. 2's on the board. 2-2, 2 outs. Marinero looks back to second, kicks and fires. Got him looking. Fastball outside, froze Morrison. And after walking the leadoff man, Lou Marinero puts the next 3 down in order. We're in to the bottom of the 6th inning. Bourne bats looking to get hot. They haven't reached base since the 1st inning. It's 9-1 to do up. You're watching the Bourne Braves Broadcast Network on Cape League TV.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings. They're ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
There hasn't been a ton of training when it comes to bat speed or products for players to be able to train bat speed. You can improve your bat speed and reach your goals working 10 to 15 minutes a day on this a couple of times a week. That's a no-brainer for every player.
It's the bottom of the 6th inning, and the bottom man in the Bourne batting lineup, the number 9 hitter Nick Groves, is set to lead things off. He's 0 for 1 today with a strikeout, 0 for 5 on the season with 3 Ks. Hit 364 last summer, though, in Hyannis, so you imagine eventually Groves will figure it out. He started 0 for 12 last year, so just takes him some time to get settled in. First pitch of Easton Barrett's second inning, in for a strike.
It's always the way it is when you adjust to these wood bats. And Groves is a very special talent. We've seen what he's been able to do in the Cape before, so there's no doubt that once he gets settled in, he could be a real asset for Bourne.
Up and inside, 1-1. Barrett put down Bourne 1-2-3 in his first inning of work. Caden Eschman and Easton Barrett have combined to retire 12 straight Braves. Barrett wears the number 1. I'll tell you what, I'm a fan of pitchers who wear number 1. As we've talked, I feel like now 30 times about my Washington sports fandom today. Mackenzie Gore, the Nationals' current ace, is a pitcher who wears 1. I think it looks slick. 2-1 fouled back.
Yeah, 1's a very clean number.
Not everyone can pull it off. You have to kind of have like a certain body type. You can't be too big or else it takes up too little of the jersey. But if it looks good, it looks good, and I think Barrett pulls it off. Like, I don't think a Braden Holcomb could wear number 1. It would just be too big of a jersey.
That's fair.
2-2. Just outside.
Like ideal build, like 6'1", 180.
That's about what Barrett is, 6 foot 170. Or smaller, like John LeGrand on deck. Bourne's number 1. The wind and the payoff. Groves continues to battle. Seems as if we're setting up for what should be another beautiful sunset here at Dorham Park. Last home game against Katuitt was a spectacular one with pink and purple skies. 3-2 fouled off again. It's turned into a picture-perfect night here at Dorham Park. Cooled off a little bit into the 70s. Just a few clouds in the sky. But the home crowd looking for their team to show up here. Groves hits a half swing towards short. Lopez fields it on a low hop, and the throw to first is in time. It's a 6-3 ground out. 13 retired in a row. Top of the order back up, John LeGrand, the Bourne center fielder who crossed home back in the bottom of the first, makes his way to the dish. If anyone's going to get a rally going for Bourne, you think there's a good chance it could be this guy.
He's just a very exciting player. He's brought a spark to this team before. He scores a lot of runs, too. So you imagine that if he can get in the base path, he's setting Bourne up pretty good to start something and get something going, which they just need a spark. That's really all it comes down to. And there's been no spark in any inning since the first because no one's got on.
Off speed broke a little bit too much. 1-1. It's not going to be easy against Barrett. I mean, he's looked spectacular since coming in. 4 up, 4 down. And his last outing gave up just 1 run in 4 innings. From the wind, the lefty deals. And this is low, 2-1. So an at-bat like this, I think, is going to be key. Work deep into the count against Barrett and try and get him out of the game, get to the rest of the Falmouth bullpen, which has been a bit shaky at times. Outside fastball, 3-1 the count. Jonathan Stevens getting loose in the Bourne bullpen. 3-1 misses low, ball 4. Second time that John LeGrand has walked today, 5th time this season. And finally, for the first time since the bottom of the first inning, Bourne has a runner on base.
That's all you need. You give a guy, Gavin Kelly, too, the chance to advance. LeGrand. Kelly went 3 for 4 yesterday, just looked really special. And out of West Virginia as a Mountaineer, was first team all Big 12 freshman, so we know he can be a talented guy and one of those new guys for Bourne. And LeGrand, like we mentioned, he scores just a ton of runs, so you want him there.
Kelly held up on the first pitch. 1-0 also misses. LeGrand stole second when he reached back in the first. Came in to score on a odd, wild pitch that had bounced away from the catcher, and no one realized the ball was still in play. Barrett's 2-0. Low 3-0. So after being pretty much completely perfect through the first 4 batters, Easton Barrett has walked John LeGrand and fallen behind in the count 3-0 to Gavin Kelly. The kick and the pitch. Just barely a called strike. Hit the line at the top of the zone. It's 3-1. Here with 1 gone. LeGrand back in standing at first.
Cade Lewis on deck, too, who hasn't had anything. How big would it be for a guy like him to come up and get back into his groove with maybe an RBI?
Heart of the Bravos order up next. Kelly at the plate, the number 2 hitter. So it's Lewis, Holcomb, Hughes due up next. The 3-1 offering, fouled back, and Barrett works his way into a full count. The payoff pitch, foul ball down the first base line.
Kelly's been doing a fantastic job at making defensive contact to stay in at-bats. He hasn't reached today, but each of his at-bats have amounted to something, working up the pitch count or whatever it may be.
Seventh pitch of the at-bat, runner going. It misses low for ball 4. Nice job by Gavin Kelly to work his first walk of the summer, and Bourne's got something going here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 2 on with 1 out. Cade Lewis up to the plate next, but first a mound visit from the Falmouth pitching coach, Todd Carroll. Devon Sheehan, the right-handed pitcher out of LSU, getting loose for the Commodores. A explosive, dangerous pitcher for the national champions, who was not a part of the travel roster, but I imagine he'll still get a ring. Cade Lewis due up with 1 out and 2 on. He's 0 for 2 today, but leads the Braves in RBIs with 6. Has been this team's most consistent hitter throughout the season. First pitch fastball, a called strike. The last game for Cade Lewis was his first hitless one of the season. Hitless again here in the bottom of the 6th, but would give his team another run to try and get back into this game with a knock right now. Takes a hack and a miss. Count 1-2.
I mean, when you go 8 straight games with a hit, you're bound to have one that just doesn't go your way, and today's not over yet, so it's not like it's a sure deal that Cade Lewis is going to go 0 for again, but he's such a talented hitter. Was heading into yesterday's game with a .400 batting average. And He's top of the league in OPS as well, or close to it. So there's just so many factors that go into it. And Lewis, right here, could drive on a run, and we don't even think about him being off his game.
The kick in the 2-2. LeGrand on his way to third. Throw not in time. It was a swing and a miss from Lewis, so strike 3, and the out is the second of the inning, but Bourne now has runners on the corners for Braden Holcomb. John LeGrand now has 6 stolen bases on the season.
He's finding his groove against these catchers. LeGrand was 3 for 6 to start his year, 2 for 5, even worse than that, in stolen base attempts. Has just been a lot more efficient and hasn't been thrown out in any of his last 3 attempts.
Keep an eye on Gavin Kelly at first base. He's got a lot of speed. First pitch to Holcomb is hit to the right side. Could be a tough play for Morrison, but he does a great job on the initial read and throws to first for the out. So Bourne finally gets something going on offense. Bravos get their first base runner since the first inning, but don't do much more. After 6, it's 5-1. We'll send things down to our sideline reporter, Ariel Tamir-Pinsky.
Well, guys, I heard a fun story about the Commodores catcher earlier. The Texas A&M player, Bear Harrison, got his name at 3 years old because he used to climb trees at his older brother's games. That older brother is Kyle Harrison, who was just involved in the Rafael Devers trade. He went from the Giants to the Red Sox last week. He was just optioned down to AAA with Worcester. But both brothers are here in Massachusetts playing summer ball in some way. Guys.
Thank you so much, Ariel. Such a cool story about the Harrison brothers. We'll be back for the 7th inning in just a moment. New pitcher in for Bourne. We'll tell you about him when we come back.
You can dream it. If you can cruise in it. If you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group. Protecting the possible.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings. They're ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
Time for the 7th inning. Falmouth still leads Bourne 5-1. The day done for Lou Marinero after an inning and 2/3. He was really solid out of the bullpen. Didn't give up any hits or any runs. Walked 1 and struck out 3. Jonathan Stevens, the right-hander, the new man in, a brand new commit to the University of Alabama, Birmingham. Announced that earlier this morning after celebrating his 21st birthday yesterday. So a belated happy birthday to Jonathan Stevens and a big congratulations on committing to UAB. The right-hander who spent the last 2 years at Alabama has been spectacular this summer. Hasn't given up any runs in 4 innings. He's walked no one, struck out 5. Pitched last in Chatham in the game that started Bourne's 3-game winning streak. Closed that one out. Went 2 innings, gave up 1 hit, no runs, and struck out 2. First pitch, fastball upstairs, up at 95, 1-0.
So much in one day. You got your birthday, you got the commitment to where you're going to spend your future athletic and academic career, and then you're on the mound for Bourne.
A whole lot. Chopper foul. Stevens goes fastball, curveball, slider, splitter. I'm really, really happy for him. Committed to UAB. Stevens is a Birmingham native, so going home, and that's a school that just seems like a perfect fit. Finds the zone, the count 1-2. The reason I say that is Stevens has been spectacular when we've seen him here in Bourne. He's gone now 7 1/3 on the Cape without giving up any runs in the regular season. Was really good in his playoff appearance, yet never saw any time at Alabama. That popped up to the left side, shallow left field. Hughes makes the catch towards the line for out number 1. So nice first out there for Jonathan Stevens against Kent Schmidt. But UAB does seem like a perfect spot for Stevens, where he can most likely work his way into the weekend rotation and be a guy who is one of the better arms in the American Conference, because he's proven time and time again during summer ball that he's got incredible electric stuff.
He's still got a lot of eligibility left, not having a lot of time in college or any time in college at all. He hasn't pitched a single inning, and it's always a great feeling when not only is the pitcher finding a home that's good for them, but the college is also getting a pitcher that'll be very valuable. That's great to see.
First pitch, a strike to Quattrani. He hits this one towards second, and it's 2 quick outs for Jonathan Stevens. That time a 4-3 grounder.
Now batting.
I think I'd be a bit surprised, though, if I'm being honest, if Jonathan Stevens has to use the 4 years of eligibility he has left. I mean, this is a guy who goes 95 from the right side, has that nasty splitter along with a couple other good off-speed pitches. I think that 1 or 2 good years at UAB and Stevens could be on his way to the draft. First pitch misses inside to Carl Schmidt.
Theoretically, he could play 6 years of summer ball.
I guess he could keep playing in Bourne. He could be a Braves legend.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd have 6 years. I think he'd just have 5, because you need to still have eligibility left to pitch.
Well, right. He's going technically into his freshman year.
No, sophomore year. You only get the 1 red shirt.
Okay, yes.
Even though he hasn't pitched
so
yet.
then 5.
Unless the NCAA changes its rules. So the 2-0 is hit towards short. Throw to first from Cooney. Bounces out of the glove of Craig. Oh, man, that should have been an easy 1-2-3, but instead it's an E3. And so a runner on here in the top of the 7th. But as I was saying, with NCAA eligibility changes, right now the rule is you have 5 years to play 4. Of course, with an injury, that can change, but generally 5 years to play 4. There's been a lot of talks of changing it of 5 years to play 5, so every player has that chance to have a grad year. How that'll work, all we can do is wait and see, as the first pitch to John Osterhaus misses low. Devon made a motion to me, thought that was an E6, and it actually is scored that way. I personally would disagree and call it an E3. I thought that, a good first baseman in Craig should be able to pick a ball on a hop.
Yeah, it rarely is called an E3 when the throw over is skipped.
At this level,
I agree with
that
you.
Guy should be able to
I
make
agree
that
with
play.
you, but just with the way things are scored when the throw is off target, like the same way as if it's a pitcher who throws a ball in front of the plate and it should be an easy block for the catcher and it gets by, it's always called a wild pitch.
It can be a passed ball, though.
It can be, but in most cases.
Yeah, I think I
agree
up
with
here
you.
on the Cape, you don't always have to give them the benefit of the doubt. These players are so good.
Yes. No, I agree with you. Just standardly, they like to call the
explanation.
Yeah. I think easily Craig should have picked that up.
I'll look back to first from Stevens. The 2-2. Misses low. Or actually, sorry, that was the 3-2. The scoreboard was off. Apologies. But there's a walk. It's the first free pass that Stevens has given up all summer. And that brings up the top of the order. And that error really seems like it could be a big moment here, because it should have been the 3rd out of the inning. But instead, it's now 2 on for the top of the order. Antonio Morales, 1 for 4 today. His 1 hit and RBI single back in the 2nd. Brought home the first run of the day, tied the game at 1. Bourne hasn't led since. First pitch to the future Maryland Terrapin, fouled off. Stevens kicks and fires. That's fouled off again, 0-2. In the bottom of the 7th, Bourne will send 5, 6, 7 to the plate. Logan Hughes, Jacob Craig, Campbell Smithwick. Logan Hughes, who's going to lead off the inning, is the only Brave with a hit today, and that was a single in the first. 0-2 upstairs on a fastball at 94. Last inning, Bravo's got 2 walks, put runners on the corners, but they could really use another hit. It's been a long time. Hits haven't really been that much of an issue this season before today. Another foul ball from Morales. He continues to battle here with 2 gone and 2 on in the top of the 7th. Outfield shifted to the left against the left-handed hitter. Runners going. 1-2. Swung on and missed. Strike 3 on the splitter. Just filthy from Jonathan Stevens, and that does it for the top of the 7th. It's time to stretch. The Bourne bats could really use some new mojo in the bottom half of this inning. It's 5, 6, 7 due up. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Bourne Braves baseball on Cape League TV.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings, they're ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
There hasn't been a ton of training when it comes to bat speed or products for players to be able to train bat speed. You can improve your bat speed and reach your goals working 10 to 15 minutes a day on this a couple of times a week. That's a no-brainer for every player.
Bottom of the 7th, and a new pitcher into the game for the Falmouth Commodores. Devon Sheeran enters with a 5-1 lead. Great work from the last man on the mound, Easton Barrett. In 2 innings, didn't give up any hits or any runs. He walked 2 and struck out 3. Sheeran, a right-hander out of LSU, did not pitch at all this past season for the national champions. Redshirted after a ACL injury in the prior summer, but when he did last pitch in college at Mount St. Mary's, he was disgusting. Was the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, the MAAC Rookie of the Year. Was a perfect game freshman All-American. Had almost 110 strikeouts in 70 innings. Now comes out onto the mound for the 3rd time this summer in 5 1/3 innings. He's got a 3.38 ERA with a walk and 8 strikeouts. Sheeran goes fastball, slider, changeup, curveball. Usually sits about 92 to 95 with his heater, but has gone all the way up to 98 before. First pitch to Logan Hughes. is skied, foul down the right field line.
And you can already see how unique Sheeran's motion is. Once he comes downhill, it hides the ball well and almost brings him all the way toward third base before coming back with that different arm angle. Before he got hurt, he did have a different mix along with a changed arm angle. And what's good is he has the right mindset. He knows he's not going to be the same pitcher, he said, that he was before the injury, but he can be better than he was before the injury.
Swing and a miss on the 1-1. Sheeran, a linebacker out on the mound, 6'5", 245, a real imposing menace. The line of the pitch, upstairs on the slider. Outfield shifted left against Hughes. He had an opposite field home run last night. Watches another slider up and outside. Count full to 3-2. Big at bat here to lead off the bottom of the 7th. Payoff pitch. Roped foul down the first base line. A rocket off the bat at 99. Hughes has Bourne's only hit today. Came in the first, but he's almost cut another in the third. That one's barely foul, or in the 7th, I should say. It's barely foul, his third foul ball there. And the count's still full 3-2.
Also at 99, he hit a line drive that went 200 feet.
Sheeran again, payoff pitch. Upstairs, ball 4. It's a nice at-bat from Logan Hughes to lead off the bottom of the 7th. Another base runner for Bourne, and Jacob Craig stands in. 0 for 2 today, 0 for 6 on the season, and a big chance to redeem that misfortunate play in the field in the top half of this inning.
He's been expanding, Logan Hughes, what he can do as a batter. A lot more walks he's drawn, and that's why he leads the Cape in OPS. Craig here, you just want to see him put a ball in play. He's had one.
Pitch to the backstop and an easy 90 feet for Logan Hughes. He's in a scoring position.
We've seen one ball in play from Craig so far, and a well-struck ball, but it was a fly out, and Craig here now with a runner in scoring position just has so much power that he can easily drive Logan Hughes in.
Bravo's offense looking to start chipping back here in the bottom of the 7th. Only run of the game came in the bottom of the 1st. Sheeran from the stretch. Misses upstairs and outside. Another slider. This is go-to breaking ball. Craig ahead in the count, 3-0. Bottom of the order up next, 7, 8, 9, Smithwick, Cooney, and Groves. Outside, ball 4. Nice job from the catcher, Bear Harrison, to ensure that ball didn't get to the backstop. But still, it's back-to-back walks from Devon Sheeran to start off the bottom of the 7th, and Campbell Smithwick has 2 on.
Now action in the bullpen getting started for Falmouth. But on the other side, something very interesting here. It's Noah Franco getting his arm loose just a little bit. Was supposed to be the starter going into today, and maybe we see him come in relief instead.
Joe Sabbath warming up in the Falmouth bullpen. It doesn't look like it's a full warm-up for Franco. Maybe just a bit of a mid-game bullpen session as he just went up and fist bumped the bullpen catcher, Ben McCormick. That's usually the sign of the end of a bullpen session is when they go up and fist bump each other.
McCormick has said in the past, though, if you see somebody throwing with me, it's likely a real session, but maybe just a one to get warm in the middle of a game.
Smithwick up to the plate. He's 0 for 2 today. His return after being gone for about a week, visiting new schools. The now Oklahoma State Cowboy watches the first pitch, a fastball inside at 95. 1-0. Hughes at second has scored 4 runs this season. Smithwick has 1 RBI, watches another pitch inside, 2 up. Inside 3-0. Sheeran can't buy a strike.
Not a lot of control.
He's at risk of walking the bases loaded. Hughes already on second, Craig already on first. Here's the pitch. Finally catches the zone, fastball down Broadway. Sheeran needs to find the zone again here. The pitch, swing and a miss, another fastball. And the right-hander out of LSU works his way back into a full count, 3-2. A look back to second. Here's the payoff. Fouled straight back by Smithwick. Another foul ball, this time off the home plate umpire. That's got to sting a little bit. Ruben Ramirez the third just walking it off after getting nailed by a foul ball. We'll get Ramirez a little bit of water. Thomas Agasta and Tim Carey, the other 2 umpires today. And Ramirez says that he's okay, so we're ready to get back going with the count still full. 3-2, no outs, 2 on, 4-run ball game. Ryan Cooney on deck. He represents the tying run. Devon Sheehan went down 3-0 to start this at-bat. He's battled his way back to a full count. Payoff pitch, inside, ball 4. Devon Sheehan has walked the bases loaded. Tying runner to the plate, but first, a pitching change. Jared Saltalamacchia, for the first time, makes a walkout onto the mound at Durham Park for a pitching change. Devon Sheehan's day done after he walks all 3 men that he sees. It'll be the right-hander Joe Sabbath in the game when we come back. We'll tell you all about the Rhode Island Ram. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Bourne Braves Broadcast Network on Cape League TV.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group, protecting the possible.
There hasn't been a ton of training when it comes to bat speed or products for players to be able to train bat speed. You can improve your bat speed and reach your goals working 10 to 15 minutes a day on this a couple of times a week. That's a no-brainer for every player.
Joe Sabbath into the game with no outs and the bases loaded in the bottom of the 7th. The 6'2" right-hander out of Rhode Island goes fastball, slider, changeup, curveball. He's already pitched 3 times this season. In 3 innings, he's walked 2, struck out 5, and has an ERA of 3.
It's pretty crazy here that Falmouth is 4 pitchers in. They've only allowed 1 run, though. So they
Just
haven't
1 hit as well.
Yeah, they haven't been very efficient, you could say, with getting through each batter. But they've completely limited Bourne when it comes to their offensive output today, other than the 3 passes. Everything that Bourne has had in their control, they've not been able to do well in.
Bravos have 1 hit today. They've reached base 7 times on walks, twice in the first inning, twice in the last inning, and 3 times now here in the bottom of the 7th. Logan Hughes will be the man on third base, Jacob Craig on second, and Campbell Smithwick on first. Ryan Cooney, the shortstop, is the batter. He's 0 for 2 today with 2 ground outs, 1 for 6 on the season, still searching for his first RBI of the summer. Cooney brought home 49 runners this past year at Oregon as a part of his first team All-Big Ten season. He represents the tying runner in the bottom of the 7th with no 1 gone. Joe Sabbath steps on and looks in. The right-hander comes set at the belt. With the bases loaded, first pitch. Outside, ball 1.
I think we picked it up on the mics there, too. He had a grunt, like a tennis player, as he came down with the pitch. Putting 100% into every throw, I guess.
Just at the knees, a called strike, 1-1. Commodores playing straight up on defense. One. That's low. Nice take from Cooney. 3 straight have walked here in the bottom of the 7th. A 4th would bring home a run. Cooney, the number 8 hitter, trying to help out his brand new team. He pops one up, foul out of play down the first base line. Ducks all around the pond. Bases loaded here in the bottom of the 7th. Cooney could tie it with 1 swing of the bat. We still haven't seen a homer yet at Durham Park this season. No more perfect time. 2-1 pitch. Hit hard. First base side, just barely foul. Right off the end of the bat. Cooney steps back in with the count 2-2.
Would have scored at least 2 on that one. A very defensive swing from Cooney. Just needs to sit into one and get one he likes, and it's a very dangerous situation for Falmouth.
Cooney takes a big hack and a miss. Strike 3 and out number 1 of the bottom of the 7th.
Now batting from Illinois.
Big time K for Joe Sabbath. That sends Nick Groves to the plate, just like Cooney before him. 0 for 2 today. Bourne's right fielder grounded out to short in the last inning as the leadoff man and struck out looking as he led off the bottom of the 3rd. Up for the first time today with runners on. First pitch, misses low, 1 out. Long lean in for Sabbath. He comes set. Called strike on a fastball.
Bourne have to get one here.
There's no doubt. Bases loaded, no outs, down by 4 in the 7th. I mean, if you don't, that Falmouth pitching staff now just has all the confidence in the world.
Yeah, and your wind is completely out of your sails. This is just a perfect opportunity. The ball's teed up for you to crush it.
Swing and a miss. Another fastball, 1-2. I mean, they don't need all 4 here, but at least 1 or 2 to just make it manageable going into the final 2 innings.
You get ahead, and it's a 2-run ball game. That's really all you need. You've got 1 hit all game, though. This Commodore pitching staff's been excellent.
Sabbath fires. Lifted, left field, tailing towards the foul line and out of play. Good job by Groves to battle. He's still searching for his first hit of the summer, his first RBI of the summer, searching to stand on base for the first time this summer. Groves last summer with Hyannis had 14 RBIs. The 1-2, lifted, shallow left field. This could drop, and it does in foul territory.
And actually, Carl Schmidt was going to get to that one, but Justin Osterhaus slid into where the ball landed like it was home plate and blocked Schmidt from grabbing the ball. And Schmidt looked at him like, what were you doing? Of trying to avoid contact, but if he gave way, that would have been out number 2.
Instead, Groves lives to see another day. Sabbath's 1-2. Called strike 3. Went back to the fastball. That one just barely catches the knees.
Now batting from St. John's,
And
number 1,
back-to-back
John LeGrand.
strikeouts from Joe Sabbath. Let's see if he can get out of this. Came in with the bases loaded and no outs. Back-to-back Ks. But now it's the top of the order backup. John LeGrand to the plate. He's 0 for 1 today, but with 2 walks and 2 stolen bases. Sabbath's first pitch. This is low.
And there's a reason Sabbath was pulled into this situation. Saltalamacchia knew he was the guy, and man, if he gets out of this scoreless, it's just an exceptional inning for the Commodores. But an even worse inning for Bourne. I mean, you have to capitalize here. And LeGrand, of the 3 batters we've seen up to the plate with the bases loaded, is the best one so far this Cape season. So maybe you just got to wait till him. But Adam, this would just be a disaster.
LeGrand has 3 RBIs on the season. The 2-0 pitch. LeGrand sends it into right field. That gets down. 1 run scores. Here comes Craig. It's a 2 RBI single for John LeGrand, and it's a 2-run ball game in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Excellent bat-to-ball skills in the clutch moment. Just so good from LeGrand. He's a guy that these scouts love for what he can do on all sides of the baseball, and he does his job perfectly there. Doesn't need too much power, but puts it in a spot no one can get to and makes this a real close ball game. The drama's high now for this homecoming.
Gavin Kelly watches the first pitch in for a strike. Campbell Smithwick now on second, LeGrand on first. 5-3 ball game. Gavin Kelly 0 for 2 with a walk. Got 3 hits yesterday in his first start of the summer. Also an RBI. In for a strike. Slider low and outside. 0-2 the count to Kelly. Sabbath a strike away from getting out of this, with the squad still up by 2. The pitch fouled off. Kelly's RBI yesterday was a single to bring home Weber Niels and give Bourne the lead. Would probably need extra bases to tie it here, but Legrand on first is very fast. Just wants to put one in play to keep this rally going. Fouls off another to stay alive.
You see the difference between Legrand's at-bat and this one is that Sabbath just got way behind in the count against Legrand, and Legrand was allowed to be aggressive because, of course, you can't walk, so Sabbath learned his lesson after that one and is just attacking the zone with tough pitches to hit. But Kelly's doing a great job being defensive and fouling off pitches he knows he can't really be effective with.
0-2. Misses low. Big pitch coming up. Sabbath leans in and comes set at the belt. Here it is. No, it'll have to wait. A step off, and back at second is Smithwick. Kelly at the plate represents the go-ahead run. The 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. Fastball outside, blew it past Kelly. And that does it for the bottom of the seventh. But Bourne does get 2 runs back. A 2 RBI single from John Legrand made it a 5-3 game. Before we step aside, we would like to thank a few of our sponsors. Are you ready to dominate the diamond and pitch like a pro with the Capes of Keith Bildo? Join us at the K-Plex, where champions are made. Don't just play the game, own it. Visit the K-Plex today and unleash your full potential. Located at 6 Forest Park Drive in Bourne. Find us on Facebook or at thek-plex.com. Elevate your game at the K-Plex. Braves fans looking for the best breakfast on the Cape? Stop by Corner Cafe, your go-to spot for delicious made-from-scratch breakfast served 7 days a week. From fluffy pancakes to sizzling bacon and fresh brewed coffee, Corner Cafe in Pecasset has everything you need to start your day. Right, just a short drive from Durham Park. Come taste why the locals call it the best breakfast in town. We'll be back in a moment for the 8th inning.
You can dream it. If you can cruise in it. If you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group. Protecting the possible.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings, they're ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
Thanks for sticking with us here at Durham Park. It is getting a little interesting here between the Commodores and the Braves as Bourne scores 2 in the bottom of the 7th to make it a 5-3 ball game. Jonathan Stevens stays on the mound. It was his birthday yesterday and has shown well for the Braves to begin his outing in this one.
Now batting from Southern California,
This Commodore team has been really solid at putting pressure on the Bourne pitching staff today. Put 4 runs up in the 6th, or rather the 5th, and that's what's been hanging over Bourne's head to this point. Would have taken them the lead even right now. Starting things for Falmouth will be Adrian Lopez. Lopez was the first batter in that 5th inning to get things going and got on with a walk, eventually scored. He's behind in the count against Stevens here, 0-2. Just finished his sophomore year at USC as a Trojan, is a towering 6'4", 210 against the right-hander from Alabama Birmingham. Looking for the punch out. Here's Stevens. Swinging a foul ball out of play, first base side, and we'll do it again here at Dorn Park. Solid crowd here, even for a Wednesday night. The home games for Bourne to this point have been mostly at pretty good times to draw crowds. A Sunday, a Thursday, a Friday, and another Sunday. This is the first real midweek game that they've had. Stevens sails the 0-2. Due up in the order for Falmouth is Micah New after this, as well as Bear Harrison. A battle between these two here. Here's the pitch. High fly ball. Shallow infield. Craig's going to call for it. Square himself and make the easy grab for out number 1. Bourne bats are hot, and if you look at them at the beginning of this season, they were really known for just battling. They would go down in games. We're down 6-0 against Harwich. Lost that game 7-5. We're down big against Hyannis, 8-1. Lost that game 8-5. Against YD, they brought it back. Against Brewster, they kept it close. So they are known to battle, and no lead has seemed to be too much for the Braves this far in. Now in game 10, this Commodore team is pretty much controlled it since the second inning, it feels like.
That's why it was so important that Bourne held Falmouth to just 4 runs in that explosive 5th inning and didn't let it get any worse. Because it's still in reach now. Just a 2-run game. The thing is if you're Jonathan Stevens, it's got to stay here. You can't let Falmouth get back in front, or already in front. You can't let Falmouth extend the lead, I should say.
No, you can't.
Because then things start to get really dangerous and you get out of the game. Here, it's absolutely still a game. 3, 4, 5 due up in the 8th. 2-run ball game, you're in it.
Micah New, a big cut. He can't catch up to the fastball. Stevens with a great arsenal, but goes against a batter in New here. He's already had an RBI triple in this game. 2-2, watch by for called strike 3. Stevens, oh so dominant in his career as a Brave, was here last season with the team despite getting no college time. Was battling injuries and even got the start for the Braves in the championship game last year. I find it hard to believe he won't one day open a game this season for Bourne, considering we've seen him do it before. So 2 outs now. And a called strike 1 to Bear Harrison.
It is a good sign, though, that Stevens has been able to look this good out of the bullpen, because it shows his versatility, a guy who can really do anything that a coach asks for him.
Here's the 0-2. He's going to shut down the side. An amazing inning for Jonathan Stevens, who's teeing up his own squad to get back in this game. We'll see after this short break. Bourne will come back out in the bottom of the 8th.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group, protecting the possible.
There hasn't been a ton of training when it comes to bat speed or products for players to be able to train bat speed. You can improve your bat speed and reach your goals working 10 to 15 minutes a day on this a couple of times a week. That's a no-brainer for every player.
We welcome you back here to Doran Park. It's a 5-3 ball game between the Commodores and the Braves. It'll continue to be Sabbath, the pitcher. He was really solid coming in the last inning for this Falmouth team. Only allowed 2 runs when it maybe could have been even more. It was just John LeGrand that got a hold of him. Substitution in the outfield. Carl Schmidt comes out and gets replaced by Landon Moran, the senior, rather the junior, who just finished his season at Stenson. So we begin things with Cade Lewis here in the 8th inning. Not been his day so far, 0 for 7 in his last 2 days on plate appearances. He faces Sabbath for the first time today, and the infield square up. A really healthy cut on the first pitch, and Cade, a guy you kind of want to see be patient. He's been such a calculated hitter, drawing walks, a really high on base percentage, average. But his swings, they aren't aggressive. They are calculated, it seems. And Lewis, so far today, has struck out, has had 2 putouts, 1 a ground out, 1 a pop out to shortstop. His team just an inning ago was in prime position to tie the ball game. They instead cut it down to just a 2-run lead, but with 2 hits on the day, that's where they need to improve. Bourne has just not had it with their bats. The 2-1 on its way. Good eye from Lewis. The only players so far with a hit for Bourne have been Logan Hughes and John LeGrand. Hughes' hit was all the way back in the first, as Lewis swings and misses to make it a full count. The other hit was just an inning ago with John LeGrand. So a huge start to the bottom of the 8th. The payoff pitch. Right back up the middle and gets through. Huge for Cade Lewis to get the monkey off his back. He's once again at big swinging ways.
He's just a professional hitter. There's a reason that Cade Lewis now has a hit in 9 of 10 games this season. It's because, as you said, he's just got such a clean bat path, such a nice, smooth swing that it's so easy for him to make good contact and send a ball to the outfield.
It seems like he can put the bat to whatever ball is thrown at him, and a battle there to get his first hit since Sunday. Now up is Breeden Holcomb, the righty out of Vanderbilt. He's also been struggling just a little bit, batting around 150 right now. He was an all-star in the Cape League a year ago for Bourne after his freshman season at Vanderbilt. And regardless of the fact that he hasn't had his best stuff this year, he's been integral for the team as a leader. One of only 2 returners to this team. If you want to count Jonathan Stevens, which he is, but he really only was here for the last 2 weeks of the season a year ago. Holcomb was here for nearly the entire thing.
Holcomb also on a 4-game hitting streak, so starting to find his groove.
Just hasn't had any multi-hit games in that stretch. He's right now batting 162 with an OPS of just 433. His batting average was 100 points less than his OPS last season to his OPS this year. So Holcomb digs in a big spot. Bourne's still down by 2. They just got their third hit of the day. Big hack to make it a 2-2 count. Logan Hughes, a big bat, is on deck. We've seen what he can do in clutch moments. Won it for Bourne yesterday with a home run in the 9th. Sent Orleans packing. Sabbath is the only pitcher right there for Falmouth. There's no action in the bullpen right now. The 2-2. A patient eye Braden Holcomb has, and he's been showing that off quite a lot. Bourne and Falmouth both, as you can tell, wearing awkward uniforms. Not their typical. It's their warm-up jerseys with their numbers on it, so scouts can still see them. Just crazy hot these past 2 days. It's a real cool, perfect temperature right now in the mid to high 70s with a little bit of a breeze. So you couldn't ask for better weather at the moment, but earlier it was steamy. Here's the payoff pitch coming from Sabbath. High chopped. This one going to be fielded, thrown to first, and off the bag is Schmidt. Osterhaus was playing way back at third base and just couldn't come in on it. Holcomb with a huge hit, keeps that hit streak alive, and now runners in scoring position and the go-ahead runner in the batter's box for Logan Hughes.
Well, that hit from Braden Holcomb may have only gone 17 inches, but you know what? It gets the job done. I love how the second that he makes contact, just drops the bat and goes full Usain Bolt speed down the first base line. That's the energy that you love to see, and now brings the go-ahead runner to the plate.
Holcomb had a similar hit yesterday in a different way. Had a bunt down the third base line that was fielded in the same spot. This time it was a chopped grounder that bounced probably 30 feet in the air after it hit the ground 1.5 feet in front of home plate. Logan Hughes, the most dangerous hitter statistically on this Bourne team. They have not had a lot of home runs, but Logan Hughes is responsible for 2 of their 3. Sabbath trying to put him out. He still has no outs in this 8th inning and is just in a bit of a tough spot. This Bourne team has come alive late in the game on both sides of the ball. Stevens is pitching really well, and now finally we see Falmouth getting some action in the bullpen. It'll be Robbie Porco getting his arm loose as Hughes puts one into the outfield. It'll be an easy grab for Schmidt as he only takes a few steps in. Rather, instead, Moran, who replaced Schmidt in left field. So the first out there for Sabbath, a big one. And now Krieg, the big bat out of Oregon State. He looks like a lumberjack. He has the look of a major league ball player. One of the older guys on this team. Just finished his junior year as a Beaver. He has a long but powerful swing, as you can tell, and maybe with a well-struck ball could bring in 2 runners. Braden Holcomb on first base is a very speedy guy, while also being 6'5" and 240 pounds, so He could easily score from first if it's in a good spot. But Craig is going to have to work himself out of a jam. An 0-2 count with one out, as Sabbath is finding his rhythm a little bit against these last two batters, including Craig. Here he comes. High and inside. Sabbath has worked really well against batters when he gets ahead early in the count. We saw that in the last inning. And this time around, it's his victims of Logan Hughes and now what could be Craig in the 1-2 count.
That last pitch was a bit of an awkward one from Sabbath. You could tell before he even released it, it was going to be a ball. It was off balance in the middle of his windup.
He does have a big old grunt when he throws the ball, so he's putting all his effort into it. The 2-2 is down Broadway, and Craig just watched it by. Craig still hitless in the Cape. And here is the newly minted Cowboy who steps into the left side. Campbell Smithwick just earned a spot as a transfer on the Oklahoma State roster, committed earlier today. Just got back from visits a day or two ago. Smithwick so far today has struck out twice. Early season Bourne was a lot of strikeouts to end innings, and they just started swinging the bat more and just trying to put the ball in play, let the other side make mistakes, and that's what we saw against Chatham, which was the first win of a 3-game win streak that they've been on. They've just put balls in play and worked the runners. Smithwick here watches the 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 2 outs. The Braves still down by 2 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Their time is running out if they want to come back in this game. Maybe they just want to do it again in the bottom of the 9th, the same way they did last time they were at home on Sunday. Sabbath misses on his next pitch, and as Robbie Porco gets even more ready in the bullpen, he could be coming out soon. Porco, by the way, who's warming up, is 6'8", 235 pounds. NBA draft going on right now. He probably could have been a draft prospect if he didn't choose to stick with baseball. Smithwick in the 2-1 receives. Called strike, top edge of the zone, a really well-located pitch, and Smithwick was not happy about the call. He's going to need to protect now. 2 runners on for Bourne. A base hit could tie the ball game. It's low. Smithwick, who hasn't stolen a base all year, was pretty hesitant after Bear Harrison blocked the ball on the backstop. So it's a slower runner at second in Lewis, but a really speedy guy on first in Holcomb. What a huge count here. It's full between Sabbath and Smithwick. Bourne down by 2. Here comes the payoff pitch. Not before a look to second. That's kind of been Sabbath's safety out if he's not feeling comfortable in the pitch. We saw him lose balance earlier, like you mentioned, Adam. Didn't want to have something like that happen again. It's like when you're standing over a golf ball and already know that your stance is bad before you hit it. Deep breath. The payoff comes. Low, and he walks the bases loaded. Runners on 1, 2, and 3. And Ryan Cooney steps up for Bourne.
Now all you need is a base hit to tie the game with Holcomb's speed at second. Anything on the ground in the outfield will bring him home. What a spot for Ryan Cooney.
Cooney got a hit yesterday in his debut for Bourne. Is in a really big spot here, the biggest opportunity that Bourne has had all game to tie it up.
He reached twice yesterday. A walk in addition to that hit. While he's 0 for 3 today, has had some solid at-bats. Swinging it pretty well during BP. I mean, this is why you come to the Cape, for moments like this, at-bats like this. But it's going to be a long wait for Ryan Cooney as here comes Salty out of the dugout.
Well, it looks like they'll potentially hand things over to Robbie Porco in the bullpen. He's still getting warm. Saltalamacchia has pointed to right field, and that means a new pitcher is coming in for Falmouth. So when we come back, it's bases loaded with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th inning for Bourne. They're down by 2, and Ryan Cooney is up to bat. We'll see you on the other side.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings, they're ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
There hasn't been a ton of training when it comes to bat speed or products for players to be able to train bat speed. You can improve your bat speed and reach your goals working 10 to 15 minutes a day on this a couple of times a week. That's a no-brainer for every player.
Robbie Porco comes into the game for Falmouth, and he's in a big situation. His predecessor, Joe Sabbath, came in a similar situation. No outs, bases loaded. This time there's 2 outs. And Porco's going to have to come up big. Signed earlier this morning, only just got to the Commodores. He's heading into his senior season next year at West Virginia and stands at 6'8". This guy is the same height as LeBron James in a baseball player.
Devon, you know we were actually talking about Robbie Porco last night in our house. He's the player for West Virginia who, for $1, will come hang out with you as a part of an NIL deal. We were talking about him last night without even realizing it was him.
Yeah, so Porco was bored in a meeting and said, I went on and made a listing. It was actually about 1.5 years ago. He said, if you want to come, let me hang out with you. Pay me $1. And it just popped back up recently in his junior season. So they call it the best NIL deal in sports. It's a pretty fun story.
Scott Landers is upset about something. He's asking for an explanation on the third base side.
It could be that the clock is out and Porco has taken a good amount of pitches. And we've seen Scott Landers get into it with some umpires before, but this one a little bit more heated than ones in the past. Timothy Carey was the one vocalizing, and veteran coach Ed Blankmeyer got in the way to kind of diffuse the situation.
Landers is upset because the clock went out, as you said, and so Robbie Porch got a lot more warm-up pitches than he probably usually would, and got a lot more time to warm up.
On the other side, you put Cooney in a situation where he had the heart bumping, the adrenaline going after seeing the bases loaded, and he's had to wait maybe 5 minutes since that time. So now, after being put on ice, Cooney comes back with the bases loaded and Bourne down by 2. Robbie Porco for his first pitch. A really healthy cut by the sophomore out of Oregon. Had his best season offensively this past season, batted .335, slugged .500. The 0-1 coming from Voccio. And Porco puts it again in the strike zone. He's ahead in the count. Cooney's now going to have to put on some defensive swings. He's very good at protecting the plate. We've seen that already today.
96 and 97, 2 fastballs. Maybe Porco takes some off here. Tries to get a chase on the 0-2.
It'll be too high to even think about it. And you can tell by the emotions from both sides that this game means a lot more. These Falmouth players, for their coach, want the homecoming win, and Landers doesn't want his protege to get the best of him. A fight off by Cooney to stay alive. He stands decently far from the plate and gets set on the 1-2. Here it comes. A swing and a foul ball. Cooney protecting. He's just in his zone.
After 97, 98, those first couple of pitches, that's back up at 96. Cooney is starting to see this fastball, time it up.
Second game of Cooney's career. Porco from the stretch. Chopped foul.
Nice job of catching up to that slider. Cooney's starting to see it. 2 good foul balls against the pitcher making his league debut.
One thing that doesn't really go away is the way you see the ball and the mental of it. Cooney showing off those skills here despite the long break from college baseball. A swing and another foul ball out of play behind home plate. This one the closest, you could say, to staying in. Another pitch at 96, and Porco is just peppering the zone. He's not even trying to get Porco to chase. Those breaking balls and off speeds he has just aren't as controllable as his fastball. But he's shaking off a few pitches here. Maybe that's a tell.
Next pitch, the 8th of the at-bat.
Still only a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Here it comes. Way high and inside. He took 10 miles per hour off of it. Just 87 on one that nearly took out Cooney. Squares up the count at 2-2. Still 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. Another chop and foul ball for Cooney. He is in the zone right now.
Continuing to battle, continuing to see the ball well. This next pitch will be the 10th of the at-bat. First 2, Cooney looked outmatched. Now he seems like he's completely timed up the fastball.
Just needs to find one to his barrel. The 2-2. Upstairs. And now it's full. Cooney with a chance to tie this game with a swing. or make it a one-run game if he forces a walk. The Bourne crowd on their feet, applauding. Here's the payoff pitch. Foul back. That one hits off the mask of Ruben Ramirez III. Cooney stays alive on the 11th pitch of the at-bat.
Ooh, that got Ramirez just square right in the mask. 96-mile-an-hour fastball just fouled straight back. That really hurts. Oh.
That one not easy to deal with, especially with how hard Porco's throwing on the mound. They're going to grab some water for him. He seems to be somewhat all right. Just collecting his bearings. So in these 11 pitches, 8 of them have been in the strike zone and pretty central. The 3 pitches that miss, Cooney's just drawn them. Reminds you almost, dare I say, of that ALCS at-bat that Juan Soto had where he just kept fouling balls off a year ago until he eventually found one he could square up. Cooney is just incredible with his contact skills that he's showing off here. Thankfully, Ramirez is okay. A real trooper behind home plate who's been calling a pretty good game tonight for Falmouth and Bourne. Now for the 12th pitch of the at-bat. Porco and Cooney square off. An open stance for Cooney as the crowd gets loud again. It's a 3-2 count with 2 outs and the bases loaded. Here's Porco. Down the middle, a swing and a foul ball out of play again.
You got to think the frustration is just starting to build for Porco.
Cooney's just trying to fight for the walk. We'll do it again on the payoff pitch. Way low, dropped third strike. Cooney on his way to first, but he steps on home plate to end the inning. A phenomenal at-bat to close out the 8th. Cooney gets caught chasing to end it. Well, we'll send things to a break here in the 8th inning. Bourne had a chance with the bases loaded, but strand all 3 runners. We'll welcome you back in the top of the 9th inning when we return, where Falmouth looks to add insurance.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group, protecting the possible.
There hasn't been a ton of training when it comes to bat speed or products for players to be able to train bat speed. You can improve your bat speed and reach your goals working 10 to 15 minutes a day on this a couple of times a week. That's a no-brainer for every player.
We welcome you back to Dorn Park for what has been one of the most exciting Brave games of the season. It's Falmouth and Bourne squaring off in the homecoming match for Jared Saltalamacchia And there's a new pitcher on the mound for Bourne. Max Bayless steps in. He's had 2 appearances on the Cape League season so far. He's a newer addition to this Bourne team. Last time was Game 2 against Chatham, and one more after that, also against Chatham. This Falmouth team has worked out of 2 really scary jams. In the bottom of the 8th, the bases were loaded with no outs. Bourne left with 2 runs to show, and last inning, bases loaded, 2 outs, and Bourne couldn't get a runner home. So it remains a 5-3 game between these 2 sides. And Falmouth are looking to add insurance. They have 7 hits to their 5 runs. Bourne has 4 to their 3 runs. Bayless on his first pitch. Gets a chase way out in front of the ball. Called strike on the second. A new batter, a pinch hitter, in for Falmouth. It's Ben Royo, the rising senior out of Texas A&M. The 0-2. Swung on and missed. It'll be in the dirt, and he tags Royo for the out. He replaced Kyle Morrison there. Now it's Kent Schmidt. Schmidt out of Georgia Tech, a famous tweeter, and got injured for most of the Tech season and steps in with the Commodores. Bayless, the new pitcher, has been really solid to start.
I've already talked about today how much I love Schmidt, just how entertaining of a baseball player he is. One of those other entertaining baseball players I always love to watch. In attendance today, Derek Bender, the 2023 Cape League champion, is just about 5 or so feet to our left.
Hopefully he can bring those Cape League championship aura back to Bourne for a game like this. Sprinkle it maybe. Step onto the field, grab some dirt. Falmouth, they still have a lead by 2, and they're trying to make it more. A well-struck ball into the outfield. LeGrand has it.
Bit of an awkward play. LeGrand just got back a little bit before he started running forward, but he's so fast that you never really worry much, even if it's not the greatest read right away.
Now batting from Cornell, number 20, Mark Quattrani.
Mark Quattrani is a Big Red, now in the transfer portal, looking for a new home, likely a much bigger school than Cornell out of the Ivy League. He steps in with 2 outs and Falmouth's last chance to add insurance. Bayless misses on the first 2. Defense has stayed the same for Bourne all game. It's been Hughes in left, LeGrand in center, Groves in right. Left to right in the infield, Holcomb, Cooney, Kelly, Craig, and behind the dish, Smithwick. The 2-0. High and inside, and Bayless for the first time is down in the count. 3 balls to no strikes.
You know, there's a chance this could be the last outing of the summer for Bayless. He is one of those guys who's going to be playing for Team USA. That gets underway next week. So, you know, with a pitcher, never a guarantee of when they'll get in a game again.
Gets the called strike down Broadway. Was a very solid pitcher for Santa Clara. Most recent season, a 4.46 ERA. The 3-1. Really well located. He's worked his way back in the at-bat. On deck is Carl Schmidt. The 3-2. Swinging a foul ball, third base side. It'll be toward the dugout of Bourne. They'll do it again. We saw just a terrific display of baseball from Porco and Cooney last inning on the full count. Will be hard to top that one. As Quattrani steps back in. And a new ball is fetched for Bayless.
You look ahead to the bottom of the ninth, and I think Bourne is in a decent position, 9-1-2 up. That's where you want to be. Heart of the order will have a chance to keep the game alive.
Payoff, swing and a miss, strike 3. Foul tipped back in the glove of Smithwick. And Bayless does exactly what he needed to. So Porco will come back onto the mound for Falmouth to try and shut the door on the Bourne Braves. We'll send things to a break before the bottom of the ninth inning, where Bourne searches for their second straight walk-off victory.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group, protecting the possible.
There hasn't been a ton of training when it comes to bat speed or products for players to be able to train bat speed. You can improve your bat speed and reach your goals working 10 to 15 minutes a day on this a couple of times a week. That's a no-brainer for every player.
It all comes down to this. At Dorn Park, Falmouth and Bourne have given us quite an entertaining game to this point, and in the bottom of the ninth, Bourne has their 9-1-2 up, looking to walk it off for a second straight home game. They did so against Catuit, where Braden Holcomb was the star. They're going to need 3 runs in the ninth to win it, or 2 to force a 10th.
Why not? Why not win 3 in a row in the ninth inning?
You might as well, right? The Cardiac Braves. First batter for Bourne is Nick Groves. 2 strikeouts today, a ground out. He works against Robbie Porco, who is showing off his arm in an inning ago. Him and Cooney got into it. It was a 15-pitch or near 15-pitch at bat between the two. Could have been the largest of the Cape season so far for the entire league. 1-1 count on its way to Groves. As the pitch misses, Groves is a player who is well experienced in the Cape. In 26 games a year ago, he hit .364 with Hyannis. He's staying with that same host family this season, except playing for the Bourne Braves. He's a player who was it 0 for 9, 0 for 12 to begin last year before he got his first hit. He's hitless so far with Bourne. Porco at 6'8". Towers, the 2-1. Cutting a tip back into Bear Harrison's glove behind the dish. 1 pitch away from the first out here in the ninth inning, as Bourne has the lead off batter in John LeGrand on deck. The 2-2. Big wave and a miss for strike 3. Out number 1 of the inning, and now to the top of the order for John LeGrand. He was the man who was clutch for Bourne 2 innings ago. A 2 RBI single out into right field, and if he can get one here, just get on base, and set up his team, he'll once again be remembered as one of the heroes of many. Porco still working from the stretch. Works against Legrand for the first time here. Legrand out of St. John's, transferred from community college. And JUCO before arriving as a Johnny. And rips one into left field. This one drops and it'll be extra bases. Diving was Moar, and he's going to storm into third. It goes all the way into the corner, a triple. What will likely be a triple depending where they call the dead ball, but what a hit for John Legrand.
Yeah, the question is what happens here. Is it going to be a ground rule double, or does Legrand get an extra base? They are going to bring him back to second. That's the right call. Any ball that goes out of play is going to be a double.
Any ball unaffected that goes out of play. It hit off something and then went there, or somebody threw it errant out of play, then that's a different situation. But Legrand is going to take the ground rule double there. An excellent swing to kickstart the ninth. The tying runner at the plate now in Gavin Kelly. Chops a grounder up the middle over the 6'8 Porco, but a toss over to first in time from Morrison advances the runner to third base.
That's probably pretty lucky for the Commodores that Porco had missed it. If he gets a piece and taps that ball, it's not going to be an easy play for Morrison.
Cade Lewis, the last hope for Bourne. If he doesn't score, this game will end. Doesn't have to be this at bat, but he represents the last hope. First pitch strike to start for Porco. He's been all you can ask for Falmouth, has made things a little scary at times, but you can't deny how he's kept it clean for the Doors. Cade Lewis, the lefty, ready for it. Watches it by. Also got to be weary of a passed ball or wild pitch as Legrand sits on third. He can make it home with those wheels. Just has to judge it right with the hard backstop at Doran Park. The ball could bounce right back to Bear Harrison if he needed it. Here's the 1-1 for Porco. Fouled back into the netting by Lewis. Lewis has been all you could ask for Bourne. Was hitless in 7 plate appearances, got his first just last inning. The 1-2. Way outside, Lewis smart with the good eye. The infield and outfield playing straight up, just a little bit back from their regular posts. First baseman Schmidt all the way on the edge of the right field line. The 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And Porco strikes Lewis out to end the game. Falmouth and Bourne give us an exciting one, but Bourne will drop their first in the last 4, and Falmouth pick up their first in the last 4. A tough game for both sides, but it all comes back to that 5th inning. Bourne allowed 4 runs in the 5th. Derek Smith, the pitcher, just couldn't have it figured out, and now Bourne will drop to 4-5-1 on the season. Falmouth up to 4-6.
It's been the issue for the Bravos and a lot of the losses. It's been those big innings. That's what does it again today. A 4 spot for the Commodores was all that they needed. This Bourne offense has to get going earlier in games, or else this could start to become a trend. Between the 2nd and 5th innings, there wasn't a single person who reached base. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. They finally got it going in the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, but it was just too little too late.
Bourne's losses, you've seen them start late in their wins. They get going early. Well, that will be all from us here at Doran Park. Bourne will stay close to hold their position in the top and playoff spots in the West Division. But before we go, this broadcast is a copyrighted production of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Any unauthorized duplication, retransmission, or any other use is strictly prohibited. We want to thank you all so much for watching and listening today. On behalf of our sideline reporter, Ariel Tamir-Pinsky, our producer, Gabriella Voccio, my good friend and play-by-play partner, Adam Gotkin, I'm Devon Jarvis saying so long and enjoy the rest of your Wednesday evening. Bourne will be back Friday at home against the Chatham Anglers. We'll see you then.